The necklace you're drawn to isn't about taste, it's about truth. Your subconscious already knows where your power lives long before your mind can explain it. In psychology, the symbols we feel pulled toward are not random. They're reflections of something active inside us, a strength, a gift, a capacity that's been quietly shaping your life. In a moment, I'm going to ask you to choose one necklace, not the prettiest, not the one you think you should pick, the one your attention keeps returning to. That choice reveals a hidden power you're already carrying, and once you recognize it, everything starts to move differently. Take a breath, trust the pull, choose your necklace. Message 1. The silent power, control through self-mastery. If you chose this necklace, your hidden power is restraint. You don't dominate environments by being loud. You dominate them by not reacting. Psychologically, this reflects a person whose nervous system has learned that stillness equals safety. Over time, that becomes something stronger, self-regulation. In Jungian terms, this is shadow mastery, the ability to feel intensity without discharging it impulsively. People underestimate you. They assume quiet means passive. That misjudgment gives you leverage. Your presence alone influences outcomes because others project onto you. The human brain fills silence with meaning. You let them. This creates psychological gravity. The danger is suppression. When restraint turns into emotional shutdown, power leaks inward and becomes anxiety or fatigue. Integration happens when you consciously choose when to speak, when to act, and when to withhold. Your power grows fastest when you stop proving yourself. Stillness isn't weakness, it's containment. If this message resonates, comment below. Like and subscribe to help us continue creating messages like this. Message 2. The magnetic power, influence through emotion. If you chose this necklace, your hidden power is emotional influence. You don't convince people with logic alone. You shift them through feeling. Neuroscience shows that humans decide emotionally first, then rationalize. You intuitively understand this. Others feel safe opening up around you because your presence lowers their defenses. In Jungian psychology, this reflects a strong anima-animus connection, the part of the psyche that understands emotional exchange. You read rooms without trying. You sense timing. You know when to lean in and when to pull back. That makes you persuasive without effort. But here's the shadow overgiving. When you unconsciously tie your worth to being needed, you attract people who take without reciprocating. Your power sharpens when you stop emotional labor for those who haven't earned access. Influence isn't about pouring more energy out. It's about choosing where it lands. If this message resonates, comment below. Like and subscribe to help us continue creating messages like this. Message 3. The strategic power, control through perception. If you chose this necklace, your hidden power is psychological strategy. You see patterns others miss. You notice inconsistencies, motivations, and subtle shifts in behavior. This aligns with what Jung called the observer self, the part of the psyche that steps back instead of reacting. In neuroscience, this is linked to prefrontal cortex dominance, delayed response, foresight, and mental modeling. People think they're ahead of you. They're not. You let them reveal themselves first. You gather information before committing energy. This gives you a quiet advantage in relationships, work, and negotiations. The shadow appears when observation turns into emotional distance. When you analyze instead of engage, intimacy suffers. Your power expands when strategy includes vulnerability, not as exposure, but as choice. You're most formidable when insight meets presence. If this message resonates, comment below. Like and subscribe to help us continue creating messages like this. Message 4. The transformational power, power through reinvention. If you chose this necklace, your hidden power is reinvention. You are not attached to old identities. You shed skins. Jung would call this an individuation-driven psyche, someone wired for growth through cycles of death and rebirth. Neurologically, this reflects high adaptability. Your brain forms new patterns quickly after disruption. You confuse people because they can't categorize you. That's not chaos, that's evolution. The shadow is instability. Constant transformation can become avoidance if you never anchor. Power solidifies when change is intentional, not reactive. When you decide who you are becoming instead of escaping who you were, your presence becomes undeniable. You don't just survive change, you use it. If this message resonates, comment below. Like and subscribe to help us continue creating messages like this.
Did you know your subconscious will automatically pick up on what you need to hear? This video is all about you trusting you and allowing your subconscious to speak. See what it has to say to you today. I'll give you some time to pick from row 1 to 4. If you chose row 1, this is your message. As soon as I got ready to start your reading, my timer went off, and the first thing that came to me as I'm searching your subconscious is stop hiding. I feel like you have gotten hurt and you've decided to put a protection around your heart. And even though you've put up these gates or these walls, your heart is still so big that people still see you. It still shines through so much. But there's a part of you that just wants to hide, even though there's been so much growth. I can see that you have been working on yourself. You still feel a bit of a mess. What seems like a mess to you is perfection to someone else because you don't see how far you've come, but everyone else does. And even if you do see your growth, I don't believe you realize how much you've grown. The only reason why you feel like you haven't grown as much as you have is because you know what you've gone through. No one else does. And even if they do, they don't feel or see it as intensely as you do. If you chose row 2, this is your message. You're a creator, either a content creator or someone who has a plethora of ideas. It seems like there's just not enough time in 1 month. um, you seem to go through a lot of changes when it comes to maybe creativity, because you're just always, it feels like you're always following a trend. Ooh, okay. So it's time to show yourself some grace because you are exactly where you're supposed to be. It's important that you stop and smell the roses, meaning if something is not working right away, then it's okay. Give it time. You know, we live in this microwavable, quick, easy, fast, hurry, you know, society. And it's not healthy for anyone. It's not healthy that we think things should happen overnight. Um, no one is a overnight success. As much as the internet may make you believe that, people who seem like an overnight sensation, people who have had successful businesses, successful marriages, successful whatever it is that you deem successful or something that you want, that person did not get it overnight. And your subconscious is telling you that it's okay to slow down and take your time and stick to one thing. That doesn't mean that you have to put yourself in a box and not complete everything that you want to do. I do believe that you have so many ideas, so many projects, so many things that you want to do, whether it's being creative or just things in your life that you want to do. It's important that you plan, you make a schedule, and you put a deadline on your goal so you can complete it. Right now, I feel like there's a lot of things that are not completed in your life. It's funny because the picture that I have for you, row 2, I accidentally deleted it and I thought it was gone for a second, but I remembered I could recover it, right? So there's something that you've been doing that you felt like you you either can't do it anymore, you've forgotten about it, Um, maybe you feel like you care too much about what other people think, or you may feel like it's over, it's done, it's in the trash, it's no longer quotation finger trending, or it's not something that is for you. But what I'm seeing here is that it's important that you kind of go back through your files, go back to what you were doing originally, because whatever it was that you were doing, it works and it will work. You just need to have a fresher perspective and do it on your terms, in your time, the way that you want to do it. This role is a role that cares a lot about not only what you think, but also what other people think. And I believe that other people's thoughts are overriding your own. And it's important. I'm feeling very intensely that it's important that you override everyone else's feelings, thoughts, emotions about whatever it is that you want to do. Shine your light on what it is that you want to do. Choose one thing and focus on that. And once you complete it, move on to the next thing. I would say it's so important for this role to not do busy work and be very intentional, especially moving into your next season. Hey, Row 3, this message is for you. Row 3, I feel like you feel all over the place, but I'm here to tell you that everything is going to be okay. You haven't lost anything. You're not falling off, or you're not being held back. You just have to decide to do what it is that you want to do. It feels so bad. I feel like you feel emotion very intensely when it comes to just how you feel at the moment about whatever it is that you're constantly worried about, even if it's different things. I promise you, on the outside looking in, no one can tell that. I promise you, it's not that bad. You have been growing so much. Like, I think there's so many different areas that you've grown in, and what you're feeling is the pain of growth. Ooh, yeah. And so people don't know what it takes to be successful until they get there. And we think it's going to be this, blissful feeling of joy and happiness. But getting better at something, growing, sucks. um, you don't feel like you have it all together. You don't feel like you have all the answers. If anything, it's the total opposite. However, you're so much wiser now. I think that is probably what's contributing to you feeling all over the place, because you realize that there's so much more to not only the world, but to you, that it just seems a bit overwhelming at times. Um, and that's okay. Again, you just have to figure out what it is that you want and go for it, because I don't see anything in your way other than you. And I know that's harsh, but it's the truth. Hey, row number 4, this is your message. I'm going to get straight to the point because I feel like you have everything in order. Um, you, I don't know why I feel like you don't really need to be here. And when I say that, because you have, the answers. You understand that. I feel like you understand life, and you also understand that in order to have the best life, you have to embrace not only the good, but the bad, not only the blessings, but also the mess in our lives. And so I feel like you have embraced every part of yourself, every part of your life. I feel like there has been some forgiveness, there has been some balance that you've incorporated into your life. I think you are in a really great place right now. Um, and I just see you really embracing who you are fully, like every single part of you. And if you're not here yet, this is not a psychic reading though. This is what you currently feel, like what's currently happening, or even what it is that you want to happen um, in your life. And so it's absolutely doable. It's important that you just make it happen if it's not already happening. But I definitely see that you are someone who feels very together, you know? Um, you have the answers, and maybe you're here because you just wanted to confirm them. And I just think that you've stopped constantly feeling like you have to heal. And if there's something that you're healing or working on, then you focus on that. You water that and you allow it to grow, and you're not hard on yourself. You know that growth takes time. You could have been in a space where you were miserable and you would constantly feel like you wasn't enough. And so that pushed you into a place where you had to learn that you are more than enough. And even though growth is important, what you realize is that growth is a process that happens naturally, and it's not something to be constantly pushed and poked at. You know, it's important that you enjoy your life, embrace who you are, and go with the flow. You definitely allow your light to shine no matter where you are. And that's a beautiful thing. And so I just feel like you're in a really great place. And that's awesome, Row 4. All right. So that's all I have for you today. Make sure you subscribe. Talk to you soon.
Trying to write with nonstop pings? That's where Grammarly comes in. With an AI chat that helps you meet every moment. See? No sweat. Need your writing to sound more knowledgeable or precise? Or would generated text more every day? With Grammarly's Humanizer, it's easy to nail just the right tone.
And these updates are exactly how we'll deliver.
Good job.
Work smarter with Grammarly.
Get burger.
Did you know that your subconscious holds the keys to your inner truth? Each object you choose is guided by the collective consciousness, an ancient reservoir of shared human experience and wisdom. As you select your chair, you're not just making a random choice, you're connecting with universal patterns that connect deep within you. Let's dive in and uncover the messages your soul is ready to reveal. Choose the chair that speaks to you. There is no right or wrong choice. What you're drawn to will reveal who you really are beneath the surface. Chair 1, you're the quiet foundation. If you chose Chair 1, you are someone whose strength is often underestimated. Sometimes, even by yourself, you are grounded, practical, observant. You don't need access to feel secure. While others may chase attention and validation, you value stability, honesty, truth. You're the type of soul who shows up when it matters, even if no one applauds. At the core of you, you are a builder of relationships, of ideas, of safe spaces. You may have learned early in life to be self reliant, which made you mature quickly. This can sometimes make you feel invisible or taken for granted. But understand this, your presence carries weight even when you're quiet. Your unconscious is reminding you that simplicity is not weakness. You don't need to become louder to be seen. You are already solid, although enough. Today, your reflection is you are the foundation others stand on, steady, dependable, and deeply rooted in truth. Chair 2, the keeper of wisdom. If you chose chair 2, you carry an old soul energy. You are deeply reflective, emotionally aware. You notice patterns, especially in people, and you often understand things long before others catch on. There is a sense of dignity about you, even if life has tried to humble or break you. You may feel called to preserve meaning, tradition, or deeper value in a world that rushes past them. Sometimes this makes you feel out of place, as if you don't quite belong in modern chaos. But this is because your role is not to rush, it is to remember. You are intuitive, but not impulsive, emotional, but not fragile. You feel deeply, yet you've learned restraint. Your unconscious wants you to know that your sensitivity is a form of intelligence, not weakness. Your reflection today is you are a bridge between past wisdom and present understanding. Your depth is your gift. Chair 3, the heart of the self. If you chose chair 3, you are centered in identity. You are someone who has done or is doing deep inner work. You are learning who you are separate from expectations, roles, or survival patterns. You may have been through periods of discomfort, transformation, or self confrontation, but you didn't avoid it, you faced it. You value authenticity. You want your life to align with your truth, not appearances. You are emotionally courageous, even if you don't always feel confident. At your core, you are learning to inhabit yourself. Your unconscious is showing you that you are becoming more grounded in who you truly are, not who you had to be. This is integration, the Jungian process of becoming whole. Your reflection today is you are not fragmented anymore. You are learning to sit comfortably in your own being. Chair 4, the compassionate observer. If you chose chair 4, you are deeply empathetic. You see people clearly, sometimes more clearly than they see themselves. You understand emotional complexity and human contradiction. Because of this, you may often find yourself holding space for others, even when you are tired. You have a nurturing presence, but you are also learning boundaries. Your soul is evolving from self sacrifice to self respect. You are beginning to understand that compassion does not mean depletion. Your unconscious is reflecting back a truth. You are not responsible for fixing everyone. Your role is to witness, not to carry. Your reflection today is you are gentle, perceptive, and wise, but you are allowed to choose yourself too. Chair 5, the creative awakener. If you chose chair 5, you are expressive and emotionally alive. You have a vibrant inner world and a strong need for authenticity and freedom. You are creative, not just artistically, but in how you think, feel, and relate to life. You bring warmth and color into spaces, often without realizing it. At times, you feel misunderstood or confined by expectations. Your soul resists being boxed in. You are here to embody joy, truth, and emotional honesty. Even when it feels risky, your unconscious is encouraging you to stop shrinking your light to make others feel comfortable. You are not too much. You are simply awake. Your reflection today is you are a reminder that life is meant to be felt, expressed, and lived to the fullest.
This space is inspired by Carl Jung's psychology and the idea that every choice we make is a reflection of the soul. Here, we don't predict the future or tell you who you're supposed to be. Instead, we explore how symbols speak to the subconscious, revealing insight, awareness, and truth already within you. The symbol you're drawn to isn't random. It reflects what your inner world is ready to understand. Heal or awaken. Take a breath. Trust what stands out to you, and allow this reflection to meet you exactly where you are. Each key represents a hidden power that already exists within you, and the message you'll hear is meant to bring awareness to what your soul is ready to unlock right now. There's no right or wrong choice. Trust the one that stands out to you first. Your choice is a reflection, and sometimes reflection is exactly what we need to grow. Now take a second and I'll give you some time to choose your key. Key 1, the Lion Key. Hidden power, inner authority and courage. Your hidden power is self-authority. Deep down, you already know who you are and what you stand for, but you've spent a long time second-guessing yourself or shrinking to keep the peace. This key appears when the soul is ready to stop asking for permission. You are naturally meant to lead, not through force but through quiet confidence. Others look to you more than you realize, even when you don't feel ready. How to unlock it? Stop waiting until you feel fearless. Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's choosing to act despite it. Begin honoring your first instinct instead of overriding it. Each time you trust yourself, this power grows stronger. Key 2, the Moon Key. Hidden power, emotional intelligence and intuition. Your hidden power lies in your ability to feel deeply and understand what others miss. You are highly attuned to emotional undercurrents, not just in others, but within yourself. This makes you intuitive, empathetic, and naturally insightful. You may have learned to suppress this sensitivity, thinking it made life harder. In truth, it's what gives you clarity in moments when logic alone fails. How to unlock it? Create space for stillness. Pay attention to patterns, emotions, and dreams rather than dismissing them. When you stop judging your feelings and start listening to them, your intuition becomes a guide instead of a burden. Key 3, the Crystal Key. Hidden power, transformation, and truth. Your hidden power is the ability to transform through truth. You are someone who can't live comfortably in denial. When something is misaligned, your soul feels it immediately. This makes you a catalyst for growth, both for yourself and for others. You're here to shed old identities, outdated beliefs, and false versions of yourself. That process hasn't always been easy, but it has refined you. How to unlock it? Release what no longer resonates, even if it once felt safe. Transformation begins the moment you stop pretending. The more honest you are with yourself, the more powerful and grounded you become. Key 4, the Heart-Sun Key. Hidden power, healing presence and light. Your hidden power is healing through presence. You don't need to fix, convince, or save anyone. Your energy alone brings comfort, reassurance, and warmth. People feel seen around you, even when you say very little. This power often goes unnoticed because it feels natural to you. But your compassion, loyalty, and sincerity leave lasting impressions. How to unlock it? Stop giving from an empty place. Your light grows brighter when you care for yourself with the same devotion you show others. When your heart is protected, your presence becomes even more impactful. This space is inspired by Carl Jung's psychology and the idea that every choice we make is a reflection of the soul. Here we don't predict the future or tell you who you're supposed to be. Instead, we explore how symbols speak to the subconscious, revealing insight, awareness, and truth already within you. The gentleman you're drawn to isn't random. It reflects what your inner world is ready to understand. Trust what stands out to you and allow this reflection to meet you exactly where you are. Each gentleman represents a hidden truth that already exists within you, and the message you'll hear is meant to bring awareness to what your soul is ready to unlock right now. There's no right or wrong choice. Trust the one that stands out to you first. Your choice is a reflection, and sometimes reflection is exactly what we need to grow. Now take a second and I'll give you some time to choose. Man 1, the protector, the wounded strength. You tend to attract men who appear strong, resilient and self-reliant on the surface, but who carry unspoken emotional weight beneath it. These men are often guarded, private, and slow to trust. They've learned to survive by holding themselves together. You attract this type because you carry a nurturing presence, whether you realize it or not. There's something about your energy that signals safety, understanding, and emotional depth. These men feel they can finally exhale around you. This can be good because these relationships often feel intense, loyal, and deeply bonded. You may experience a sense of purpose and connection that feels meaningful, but it can become unhealthy if you begin to feel responsible for their healing, mistaking emotional availability for emotional dependence. The lesson here is learning the difference between supporting someone and carrying them. Your growth comes from allowing strength to meet you halfway. Man 2, the achiever, the controlled mind. You often attract men who are driven, composed, and achievement-oriented. These men value structure, success, and self-discipline. They usually know who they are in the world, or at least appear to. You attract this type because you reflect clarity and potential. These men see you as someone who understands their ambition and respects their goals. Your presence mirrors stability and refinement. This dynamic can be empowering. It can bring security, growth, and a sense of direction. You may feel inspired to elevate your own life alongside them. However, this connection can turn imbalanced if emotional depth is replaced with performance, where love becomes conditional or vulnerability is avoided. The challenge here is recognizing when success is used as armor. Your hidden work is learning that emotional intimacy matters just as much as external success. Man 3, the free spirit, the emotional idealist. You tend to attract men who are expressive, sensitive, and emotionally curious. These men are often searching for meaning, connection, or a sense of belonging. They feel deeply and love authentically, but may struggle with consistency. You attract this type because you carry emotional openness. You create space for feelings, creativity, and expression. These men feel seen by you in ways they rarely experience. This connection can feel soulful, romantic, and emotionally rich. There's often laughter, depth, and moments of real tenderness, but it can become draining if emotional intensity replaces emotional responsibility. If you find yourself anchoring someone who is still figuring themselves out, imbalance can form. Your lesson here is learning to pair compassion with boundaries, and remembering that emotional depth must also come with emotional maturity. Man 4, the rebel, the untamed shadow. You are often drawn to men who challenge norms, carry intensity, and live on the edge of convention. These men may be passionate, magnetic, and unapologetically themselves, but also unpredictable. You attract this type because you have a strong intuitive pull toward authenticity, truth, and raw expression. This dynamic can be transformative. These relationships often spark awakening, self-discovery, and profound inner change, but it can also become chaotic if intensity replaces stability. The shadow side is confusing passion with safety, or mistaking chemistry for compatibility. Your growth here lies in learning that freedom doesn't have to come at the cost of peace.
Tampax Radiant has a dual protection system for up to 100% leak-free periods.
This space is inspired by Carl Jung's psychology and the idea that every choice we make is a reflection of the soul. Here we don't predict the future or tell you who you're supposed to be. Instead, we explore how symbols speak to the subconscious, revealing insight, awareness, and truth already within you. The woman you're drawn to isn't random. It reflects what your inner world is ready to understand. Trust what stands out to you and allow this reflection to meet you exactly where you are. Each woman represents a hidden truth that already exists within you, and the message you'll hear is meant to bring awareness to what your soul is ready to unlock right now. There's no right or wrong choice, Trust the one that stands out to you first. Your choice is a reflection, and sometimes reflection is exactly what we need to grow. Take some time, breathe deeply, and choose which woman immediately stuck out to you. Don't overthink it, just allow. I'll give you a second. Woman 1. The strategist, the controlled power. You tend to attract women who are composed, refined, and emotionally self-contained. On the surface, they appear confident, grounded, and in control of their lives. They value structure, ambition, and self-mastery, and they rarely let others see them unravel. You attract this type because your energy respects discipline and intention. There is something in you that understands restraint, timing, and self-direction. These women feel seen by you, not for their softness, but for their strength. This connection can feel stabilizing and purposeful. It often brings mutual respect, clarity, and forward momentum. You may feel encouraged to step more fully into your own authority. However, this dynamic can become distant if emotional expression is replaced with control. When vulnerability is avoided, intimacy can quietly fade. What this says about you is, you are learning how to balance self-mastery with emotional openness. Your soul is ready to discover that control does not equal safety. Connection does. Woman 2, the muse, the emotional magnet. You often attract women who are warm, expressive, and emotionally rich. They carry a natural magnetism and are deeply connected to their feelings, desires, and intuition. You attract this type because you are emotionally receptive, even if you don't always show it. These women sense your ability to hold depth and meet intensity without fear. This dynamic can be passionate and inspiring. It often awakens desire, creativity, and emotional truth. But it can become overwhelming if emotional intensity replaces grounding and boundaries. What this says about you is, you are reconnecting with your emotional depth and learning that passion doesn't have to come at the cost of stability. Woman 3, the anchor, the safe presence. You tend to attract women who feel calm, familiar, and emotionally approachable. They are nurturing, grounded, and bring a sense of safety into connection. You attract this type because your presence feels reliable and steady. There is something in you that others trust, even when you don't fully recognize it yourself. This connection can feel comforting and secure. It often creates emotional ease and mutual understanding. However, comfort can become limitation if growth is avoided. What this says about you is, you are learning that safety is a foundation, not a destination. Your soul is ready to grow without abandoning peace. Woman 4, the rebel, the untamed truth. You often attract women who are independent, unconventional, and unapologetically authentic. They resist expectations and live by inner truth rather than external approval. You attract this type because part of you is ready to break free from old patterns. Even if your life appears structured, your psyche is craving honesty and self-expression. This connection can feel liberating and transformative. It often challenges you to live more boldly and truthfully, but it can become unstable if freedom turns into avoidance. What this says about you is, you are in a phase of reclaiming your authenticity. Your soul is ready to choose truth over comfort without losing your grounding.
Hand off your taxes to an expert in your neighborhood. Now, your TurboTax expert can file for you, so you don't have to miss a moment. You've got better things to do than taxes. Have a local TurboTax expert file for you.
Welcome. This space is inspired by Carl Jung's psychology and the understanding that every choice we make is a reflection of the soul. Here we don't predict the future or tell you who you're supposed to be. Instead, we explore how symbols speak directly to the subconscious, revealing insight, awareness, and truth that already exist within you. According to Jung, the things we're drawn to are not random. They're guided by the collective unconscious, the deeper part of the mind that knows what we need before we consciously understand it. So the picture you're drawn to isn't a coincidence. She reflects what your inner world is ready to recognize, heal, or understand right now. This isn't just a message. It's an opening, a doorway to true growth. Because the solution you're seeking has always been within you. There's no right or wrong choice. Trust what stands out to you first. Take a moment. Breathe deeply. Don't overthink it. Just allow. Choose the picture that immediately caught your attention. I'll give you a second. Row 1, the repressed innocent. If you were drawn to symbol 1, this message is for you. Carl Jung taught that the shadow is not only made of darkness, it also holds the pure parts of us that were never allowed to exist freely. The repressed innocent forms when gentleness had to be hidden in order to survive. At your core, you are sensitive, perceptive, and emotionally sincere. But early on, you may have learned that being soft was unsafe, inconvenient, or ignored. So you adapted. You matured quickly. You became responsible, quiet, or emotionally self-contained. But innocence doesn't disappear. It waits. You may feel drawn to simplicity, nostalgia, or peace. Not because you're naive, but because your soul remembers a version of you that didn't have to brace for impact. Jung believed suppressed innocence turns into longing, a quiet ache for safety without performance. Your gift is emotional purity, the ability to feel without corruption or cynicism. But when unacknowledged, this turns into exhaustion or sadness. Healing doesn't require toughness. It requires permission. This week, allow one small moment of softness without explaining it. No fixing, no justification. Just letting gentleness exist. That is how the innocent returns, slowly, safely. Row 2, the angry rebel. If you chose symbol 2, this message is for you. Jung believed anger is not destructive by nature. It becomes destructive only when it is unconscious. The angry rebel forms when your truth was silenced, dismissed, or controlled. You are not angry because you are broken. You are angry because you noticed when things were unjust. Early on, you may have learned that questioning or expressing frustration wasn't welcomed. So your anger waited. It gathered. It hardened. You may appear calm until suddenly you're not. You may withdraw instead of explain. You may feel misunderstood when you finally speak. This archetype carries life force energy. It wants truth, autonomy, and authenticity, not chaos. Your gift is clarity, the ability to see what doesn't align and name it. But unintegrated anger turns inward or explodes outward. Healing doesn't mean suppressing anger. It means directing it consciously. This week, notice where you say it's fine, but your body says otherwise. Just notice. Awareness is the beginning of integration. Your anger isn't here to destroy. It's here to restore your truth. Row 3, the fearful protector. If you were drawn to symbol 3, this message is for you. The fearful protector forms when safety was uncertain. So your nervous system learned vigilance. You are not controlling. You are not distant. You are deeply aware. You learn to anticipate problems, manage emotions, and stay prepared. Not because you wanted to, because it kept you safe. You may struggle to relax fully. You may trust yourself more than life. You may feel responsible for holding things together. Jung believed fear organizes the psyche when security is lacking. The protector guards tenderness. It fears that if it relaxes, everything will fall apart. Your gift is stability, discernment, and emotional intelligence. But when overextended, protection becomes isolation. Healing doesn't require dropping your guard completely. It requires softening it. This week, choose one moment where you don't intervene. Let life respond without your control. Observe what happens. Safety can be learned slowly. Row 4, the hidden creator. If you chose symbol 4, this message is for you. Jung believed creativity is essential to psychological health. When it's suppressed, it doesn't disappear. It turns inward. You are not unmotivated. You are overflowing with ideas. But at some point, expression felt risky. Visibility invited judgment. So you learned to refine, delay, or hide what wanted to be born. You may start projects but not share them. You may feel creatively misunderstood. You may compare yourself to others and retreat. The conflict isn't talent, it's permission. Your gift is vision. You translate inner worlds into form. But creativity doesn't want perfection. It wants movement. Healing means creating without outcome. Create one thing this week without judging it. No audience, no standard, just expression. Your creativity isn't waiting to be ready. It's waiting to be trusted. The shadow is not your enemy. It is the part of you asking to be welcomed back. Have you ever noticed how certain relationship patterns keep repeating? No matter who you date, different faces, different stories, same emotional ending. Here's the psychology behind why one animal caught your attention and how your unconscious may be shaping your love life without you realizing it. Don't analyze it. Don't justify it. Just breathe and notice which animal you felt drawn to first. 1. The butterfly. If you chose the butterfly, you're drawn to emotional transformation. You fall in love with possibility, with growth, with who someone could become. Psychologically, this often forms when love was inconsistent early on, teaching you that connection requires effort, patience, or change. You feel most alive at the beginning of relationships, when everything feels full of promise. But over time, you may confuse emotional intensity with emotional intimacy. Jung would say your psyche is seeking individuation, yet keeps projecting growth onto others instead of grounding it within yourself. Your lesson isn't to stop loving deeply. It's to stop abandoning yourself in the process. To the wolf. If the wolf stood out to you, independence shapes your emotional world. You value loyalty, but you've learned to rely on yourself first. This often develops through emotional self-sufficiency and when needing others felt unsafe or disappointing. In relationships, you may appear calm, strong, and controlled, but beneath that control is a fear of dependence. Jung might describe this as a split between the persona and the shadow, where strength hides vulnerability. Your pattern isn't isolation. It's learning that closeness doesn't mean losing yourself. 3. The turtle. If you chose the turtle, your nervous system seeks emotional safety. You move slowly in love because your subconscious remembers overwhelm. Psychology calls this protective withdrawal, a response to emotional unpredictability or loss. You don't rush connection. You observe it, but sometimes caution becomes distance. You may wait for certainty before opening up, not realizing that emotional security is built through shared risk. Your growth comes from allowing connection to feel safe and alive at the same time. 4. The lion. If the lion caught your attention, you lead with strength. You take responsibility in relationships, emotionally, mentally, sometimes financially. You often become the anchor. But Jung would say that behind a powerful persona often lives a tired shadow. You may attract partners who lean on you more than they support you. Over time, strength turns into pressure. Your healing begins when love no longer requires you to carry everything alone. Here's the truth. The animal you chose doesn't reveal what's wrong with you. It reveals what your unconscious is ready to heal. Patterns don't change through force. They change through awareness. If this felt uncomfortably accurate, you're in the right place. Stay with the channel. We explore the unconscious not to judge but to transform. Before we begin, take a slow breath. This is not a personality test based on logic, and it is not about choosing the right answer. This is a Jungian psychological test, one that speaks directly to your unconscious mind. In a moment, you will see 4 books. Do not analyze them, do not overthink. Simply notice which one pulls you in. Carl Jung believed that what attracts us instinctively reveals hidden aspects of our inner world, desires, fears, strengths, and unresolved truths. Your choice is not random. It reflects the part of your psyche that is most active right now. So trust your intuition, let your mind go quiet, and choose the book that feels right, even if you don't know why. If you're drawn to self-discovery, depth psychology, and understanding the hidden forces shaping your life, consider subscribing to this channel. Here we explore the unconscious, the shadow, and the journey toward the self, one symbol at a time. Now, take one more breath and choose your book. Book 1, The Silent Book. The Observer, Introverted Intuition. You chose the silent book. This choice reveals a psyche that moves inward before it moves outward. You are someone who listens, not only to words but to what exists beneath them. From a young age, you may have felt slightly out of place in the world. Not because you lacked intelligence or emotion, but because your awareness was always turned toward the invisible layer of life. You notice patterns before events unfold. You sense shifts before they happen. Your mind does not rush, it waits, observes, and connects. Carl Jung described this orientation as introverted intuition, a function that perceives meaning, symbolism, and future potential rather than surface reality. You're often drawn to solitude, reflection, and deep thinking, not because you dislike people, but because too much external stimulation can feel overwhelming. Your inner world is vivid, complex, and alive. Ideas emerge suddenly, often without logical steps. You know things but cannot always explain how. This can make you feel misunderstood. Others may see you as distant or quiet, when in truth, you are processing more than most people ever realize. Your strength is insight. You see the long arc of things, the trajectory of people, relationships, and ideas. Your challenge is grounding. Because you live so deeply inside, you may delay action, doubt expression, or struggle to share your vision with the world. Jung warned that intuition without grounding can lead to isolation. But intuition integrated with reality becomes wisdom. You are not meant to withdraw completely. You are meant to translate the unseen into something others can understand. Your soul is that of a quiet seer, and when you trust yourself enough to speak, others listen, whether they admit it or not. Book 2, The Worn Book. The Healer Feeling Function. You chose the Worn Book. This choice reflects a life shaped by emotional experience. You are someone who has lived, felt, and remembered deeply. This book carries marks of time just as you do. You are not emotionally fragile. You are emotionally experienced. Pain has not broken you, it has refined you. Carl Jung described your orientation as being guided by the feeling function. Not emotion in the chaotic sense, but feeling as inner values and meaning. You instinctively know what matters. You sense emotional shifts in others before they speak. You feel responsible for harmony, for comfort, for emotional truth. You are often the one people turn to in moments of vulnerability. You listen. You hold space. You understand. But this depth can become a burden. You may have learned to prioritize others' needs above your own. You may feel guilt when choosing yourself. You may confuse self-sacrifice with love. Jung believed that unbalanced feeling leads to emotional exhaustion. When you give without limits, the psyche quietly resents it. Your lesson is not to stop caring. Your lesson is to care wisely. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to say no. You are allowed to receive. Your empathy is not your weakness, it is your gift. But every gift must be protected. When you honor your own emotional truth as deeply as you honor others, you become not just a healer, but a whole human being. Book 3, The Locked Book. The Shadow, the Unconscious. You chose the locked book. This choice reveals a psyche drawn toward what is hidden, repressed, or forbidden. You are not afraid of darkness. You are curious about it. Carl Jung called this realm the shadow, the parts of ourselves we reject, deny, or push into the unconscious. Your shadow may contain anger you were never allowed to express, desires you were taught to suppress, strengths that once felt dangerous. You may experience intense emotions, sudden mood changes, or a feeling that there is more inside you than the world ever sees. This does not make you broken. It makes you complex. Jung believed that the shadow is not something to eliminate, but something to integrate. What we refuse to face controls us from below. What we face becomes power. You may struggle with self-judgment. You may fear parts of yourself. You may wonder why certain patterns repeat in your life. The answer lies not in rejection, but in understanding. The locked book does not mean danger. It means potential energy. When you stop fighting your shadow, you gain access to confidence, creativity, and authenticity. Wholeness does not come from purity. It comes from honesty. You are not meant to be perfect. You are meant to be whole. Book 4, The New Book. The Self-Individuation. You chose the new book. This choice reveals a psyche standing at the edge of transformation. You may feel restless, uncertain, as though an old identity no longer fits, but a new one has not yet formed. Carl Jung called this stage individuation, the lifelong process of becoming one's true self. You are shedding roles you once played to survive, expectations that were never truly yours, versions of yourself shaped by fear or approval. This can feel uncomfortable. Change always does. But this book symbolizes potential, not loss. You are not starting from nothing. You are starting from experience. Your inner world is open, curious, and future-oriented. You are ready to explore who you are beyond labels. Jung believed that the self emerges when we stop trying to be who we should be and begin listening to who we are. You may not have all the answers yet. You are not meant to. This stage requires trust. Trust in your intuition. Trust in your growth. Trust that confusion is often the doorway to clarity. You are not lost. You are becoming, and this chapter, unwritten, untouched, and open, belongs entirely to you. Which book did you choose? And what part of your psyche is asking to be seen? Before we begin, take a slow breath. This is not a personality test based on logic, and it is not about choosing the right answer. This is a Jungian psychological test, one that speaks directly to your unconscious mind. In a moment, you will see 4 gentlemen. Do not analyze them. Do not overthink. Simply notice which one pulls you in. Carl Jung believed that what attracts us instinctively reveals hidden aspects of our inner world. Desires, fears, strengths, and unresolved truths. Your choice is not random. It reflects the part of your psyche that is most active right now. So trust your intuition, let your mind go quiet, and choose the gentleman that feels right, even if you don't know why. If you're drawn to self-discovery, depth psychology, and understanding the hidden forces shaping your life, consider subscribing to this channel. Here we explore the unconscious, the shadow, and the journey toward the self, one symbol at a time. Now, take one more breath and choose your gentleman. Gentleman 1, the reserved observer. If you were drawn to Gentleman 1, your unconscious is speaking in whispers rather than noise. You are attracted to individuals who are quiet, observant, emotionally contained. People who seem difficult to read. People who feel deep yet distant. Carl Jung believed that what fascinates us most in others often lives unexpressed within ourselves. This choice reveals a powerful relationship with your shadow self, the parts of you that were never fully welcomed, expressed, or understood. You may be someone who learned early on to stay composed, to think before feeling, to analyze rather than reveal. Because of this, you unconsciously attract people who do the same, or even more intensely. These personalities often struggle to communicate emotions directly. They may withdraw instead of confront. They may love deeply but silently. You don't choose them because they are unavailable. You choose them because they feel familiar. Your psyche recognizes the emotional restraint you once needed to survive. Jung would say this attraction is not punishment, it is integration work. Your soul is asking, what emotions have you been holding back? What truths have you never spoken aloud? What vulnerability still feels unsafe? You may find yourself trying to unlock these individuals, believing that patience or understanding will finally bring closeness. But the real invitation is internal. When you allow yourself to express uncertainty, sadness, and desire without self-judgment, your relationships transform. You stop attracting silence and start attracting presence. This choice marks the beginning of emotional liberation. Who you attract is never random. It is your unconscious asking to be understood. And once awareness enters, the pattern changes. Subscribe if this message resonates. This will help us to put out more content like this. Gentleman 2, the charismatic leader. If Gentleman 2 captured your attention, power is a key theme in your unconscious. You are drawn to confidence, charisma, decisiveness, people who seem to command space effortlessly. Jung described this as projection. When we unconsciously place disowned traits onto others, you may admire their certainty, their boldness, their authority, not because you lack it, but because you haven't fully claimed it. Often, people who choose this gentleman are highly capable, intelligent, and perceptive, yet somewhere along the way, they learned it was safer to soften their strength. So the psyche seeks it externally. You attract leaders, dominant personalities, or emotionally assertive partners because they activate your dormant power. But there's a shadow side. When power remains projected, imbalance appears. You may feel overshadowed, controlled, or dependent on approval. Jung taught that true individuation occurs when we reclaim our projections. Ask yourself, where do I hesitate to lead my own life? Where do I silence my authority to maintain harmony? This attraction isn't about submission, it's about awakening. When you embody your own confidence, relationships shift dramatically. You stop attracting dominance and begin attracting mutual respect. Your unconscious is not asking you to follow, it's asking you to stand. Who you attract is never random. It is your unconscious asking to be understood. And once awareness enters, the pattern changes. Subscribe if this message resonates. This will help us to put out more content like this. Gentleman 3, the emotional romantic. If Gentleman 3 spoke to your heart, emotion is your primary language. You are drawn to sensitivity, passion, emotional intensity, people who feel deeply, sometimes overwhelmingly. Jung associated this pattern with an unintegrated feeling function. You may have learned that love equals emotional responsibility. That closeness means caretaking. That connection requires endurance. Because of this, you attract people who need emotional support, healing, or reassurance. You don't fear depth, you live there. But depth without boundaries becomes exhaustion. You may find yourself giving more than receiving, listening more than being heard, holding space while neglecting your own. Your psyche believes love is proven through sacrifice. But Jung warned, what we over-identify with can become our prison. This attraction asks you to redefine love. Love is not emotional labor. Love is not rescue. Love is reciprocity. When you honor your emotional needs as equally important, your relational patterns shift. You stop attracting wounds and start attracting wholeness. This choice reveals a healer who is learning to heal themselves. Who you attract is never random. It is your unconscious asking to be understood. And once awareness enters, the pattern changes. Subscribe if this message resonates. This will help us to put out more content like this. Gentleman 4, the independent wanderer. If Gentleman 4 intrigued you, freedom is central to your identity. You are drawn to independence, mystery, unpredictability, people who resist being defined or tied down. Jung would describe this as the pull toward individuation, the journey to become one's authentic self. You value autonomy deeply. You fear losing yourself in relationships. So you attract people who mirror this tension, emotionally distant, inconsistent, or always moving forward. This is not accidental. Your unconscious is exploring a fundamental question. Can I remain myself while being deeply connected? Often, this attraction appears during periods of personal transformation. You may be shedding old identities, beliefs, or expectations, but here lies the paradox. Avoiding commitment does not guarantee freedom. True freedom includes vulnerability. Jung taught that wholeness requires union, not escape. When you allow intimacy without self-erasure, the pattern dissolves. You stop attracting distance and begin attracting aligned companionship. This choice signals a soul learning that freedom and love can coexist. Who you attract is never random. It is your unconscious asking to be understood. And once awareness enters, the pattern changes. Subscribe if this message resonates. This will help us to put out more content like this.
It's time to change the way you think about pads. Always Pocket Flex Foam. Full-size protection in a tiny pack. It's made with foam, not fluff. For up to zero feel and up to zero leaks. And it absorbs more. Ready to go where you go. Always Pocket Flex Foam.
Before you chose a path, your unconscious was already responding. Welcome to Soul Reflections, a space inspired by Carl Jung's psychology, where symbols, choices, and patterns reflect the deeper emotional truths within you. Here we don't predict the future. We don't tell you who you're supposed to be. Instead, we explore why certain emotional patterns repeat, why certain relationships feel familiar, and what your inner world may be asking you to heal, integrate, or finally release. The path you were drawn to wasn't random. It reflects where your psyche is right now and what kind of future you're unlocking from the inside out. As you listen, don't overthink. Just notice what resonates. If these reflections help you understand yourself more clearly, consider subscribing to Soul Reflections, a channel for self-awareness, emotional growth, and real inner change. Now take a breath. And let's explore what your choice reveals. The path of conscious expansion, the builder of the future. If you chose path 1, your unconscious is drawn toward growth through structure, intention, and vision. This path reflects a psyche that is ready to move forward deliberately, rather than emotionally reacting to the past. In Jungian psychology, this represents the ego aligning with purpose, rather than being ruled by unresolved shadow patterns. You are likely someone who has already endured emotional chaos, uncertainty, instability, or inconsistency, and your inner world is now craving clarity. The future you are unlocking is one where you no longer drift. You decide. However, this path also reveals something important. You may associate safety with control. You feel most secure when you know where things are going. In love, finances, and life direction, this can be a strength, but it can also create pressure. When things don't progress fast enough, you may feel anxious, impatient, or disappointed. In relationships, this often shows up as overfunctioning, being the planner, the fixer, the emotional leader. You may attract partners who admire your strength, but unconsciously rely on it too much. The work here is learning that true leadership includes receptivity. You don't have to carry everything alone to build a meaningful future. Your unconscious is inviting you to expand, but not at the cost of your softness. The future you are unlocking is stable, expansive, and self-directed, as long as you remember that fulfillment comes not just from building outward, but from staying connected inward. If this message resonated, sit with it. Awareness is the first step toward change. These reflections aren't meant to label you. They're meant to help you understand yourself more deeply. If you're on a journey of healing, growth, or inner clarity, you're in the right place. Subscribe to Soul Reflections for more psychological insights, symbolic reflections, and self-discovery inspired by Carl Jung. Until next time, trust what your soul is showing you. The path of emotional integration, the healer's future. If you chose path 2, your unconscious is drawn toward inner harmony, healing, and emotional truth. This path reflects a deep sensitivity, not weakness but awareness. In Jungian psychology, this symbolizes the integration of the inner child and the emotional self. You are unlocking a future where you no longer abandon your feelings to survive. This choice often comes from someone who has learned to endure, to adapt, to be understanding, to hold space for others, often at the expense of themselves. You may have learned early on that being emotionally expressive wasn't safe or welcomed. As a result, your relationships may have followed a familiar pattern.
For any day, any flow. Campax has you covered.
Guys, this thing's so delicious. I could start a business selling them. Oh, LegalZoom. I can register an LLC and even update my will so I can pass along my recipes when I bite the biscuit.
When you need a legal hand, turn to LegalZoom.
You give, you understand, you forgive, and then you feel unseen. Your unconscious is now shifting. This future is about emotional boundaries without emotional shutdown. You are learning that you don't have to choose between love and self-respect. You can have both. Healing for you doesn't mean revisiting pain endlessly. It means allowing yourself to finally receive what you've always given. The future you are unlocking is gentler, grounded, and emotionally fulfilling. But only if you stop minimizing your needs to keep the peace. Your emotions are not obstacles. They are guides. If this message resonated, sit with it. Awareness is the first step toward change. These reflections aren't meant to label you. They're meant to help you understand yourself more deeply. If you're on a journey of healing, growth, or inner clarity, you're in the right place. Subscribe to Soul Reflections for more psychological insights, symbolic reflections, and self-discovery inspired by Carl Jung. Until next time, trust what your soul is showing you. The path of shadow transformation, the Phoenix path. If you chose path 3, Your unconscious is calling you toward deep transformation through challenge. This path represents the Jungian concept of shadow integration, the part of the psyche that holds pain, anger, fear, grief, and unexpressed truth. You are unlocking a future that requires courage. This choice often comes from someone who has already been through emotional intensity, heartbreak, betrayal, loss, or profound disillusionment. You didn't choose the storm shaped you. But here's the truth. Your future is not about suffering. It's about alchemizing pain into power. You are no longer here to repeat cycles. You are here to understand them. In relationships, you may have experienced extremes, deep connection followed by deep disappointment. This happens when the unconscious is trying to force awareness through intensity. Your task now is integration, not endurance. This future requires honesty, with yourself first. Suppressed emotions become patterns. Expressed emotions become clarity. The future you are unlocking is one of strength, authenticity, and emotional sovereignty. But only if you stop fearing your own depth. The storm is not blocking your future. It is forging it. If this message resonated, sit with it. Awareness is the first step toward change. These reflections aren't meant to label you. They're meant to help you understand yourself more deeply. If you're on a journey of healing, growth, or inner clarity, you're in the right place. Subscribe to Soul Reflections for more psychological insights, symbolic reflections, and self-discovery inspired by Carl Jung. Until next time, trust what your soul is showing you. The path of emotional freedom, the liberated future. If you chose path 4, your unconscious is seeking peace, freedom, and emotional release. This path reflects a psyche that has done enough surviving and is now ready to live. In Jungian psychology, this represents the soul's desire to return to balance after prolonged tension. You may have spent years being responsible, strong, or emotionally guarded. This choice reveals a longing to feel light again. In relationships, you may have stayed longer than you should have, hoping things would change, trying to make things work, or prioritizing loyalty over joy. Your unconscious is now saying, it's safe to choose ease. The future you are unlocking is not passive, it is intentional peace. You are learning that love doesn't have to hurt to be meaningful, and success doesn't have to cost your nervous system. However, this path also carries a reminder. Freedom doesn't mean avoidance. True peace comes from clarity, not escape. The goal isn't to float away from responsibility. It's to choose environments, relationships, and goals that don't require you to abandon yourself. The future ahead of you is calm, emotionally aligned, and fulfilling, as long as you honor both rest and truth. You are not running away. You are returning to yourself. If this message resonated, sit with it. Awareness is the first step toward change. These reflections aren't meant to label you. They're meant to help you understand yourself more deeply. If you're on a journey of healing, growth, or inner clarity, you're in the right place. Subscribe to Soul Reflections for more psychological insights, symbolic reflections, and self-discovery inspired by Carl Jung. Until next time, trust what your soul is showing you.
Local tax experts are here. Now you can meet with a TurboTax expert in your community. They can do your taxes for you and get you every dollar you deserve. Local tax experts are here. Hand off your taxes with confidence.
Welcome to Soul Reflections. The purpose of this message is to help you gain clarity, not predictions. We're exploring how unconscious patterns can influence relationships, especially when it comes to commitment, and how awareness gives you back choice. This reflection is meant to support you in understanding your role within a dynamic, without blame or judgment. When you see patterns clearly, you can decide what to keep, what to shift, and what truly aligns with you. As you listen, notice what resonates, what challenges you, and what brings relief. All of that information is useful. The benefit comes from your honesty and willingness to reflect, not from forcing meaning. When you're ready, allow yourself to continue, grounded, open and focused. Before we begin, take a moment to settle into this space. Place your feet on the floor, soften your shoulders, and take a slow breath in through your nose. Then exhale fully through your mouth. Let's do that once more. Inhale steady and calm. Exhale, releasing any tension. Now choose your row. Ring 1, the shadow. How unconscious patterns can repel commitment. If you chose ring 1, this message isn't about blame. It's about awareness. Carl Jung believed that we all carry a shadow, the parts of ourselves we haven't fully acknowledged. These aren't bad traits. They're unconscious behaviors, beliefs, and emotional reactions that quietly shape our relationships. When someone repeatedly asks, "Why won't he marry me?" Jung would gently redirect the question inward. What dynamic might I be unconsciously participating in? One way commitment can be repelled is through overfunctioning. This happens when you show up as emotionally strong, endlessly patient, overly understanding, while quietly suppressing your own needs. From the outside, this looks like maturity. From the unconscious level, it can communicate, "I don't require much from you." Some partners respond to that by relaxing into comfort rather than stepping up. Another shadow pattern is fear of confrontation. If you avoid clearly stating expectations because you're afraid of pushing him away, the relationship may stay emotionally safe, but structurally undefined. Jung taught that clarity creates growth. Avoidance creates stagnation. Without realizing it, you may be protecting the relationship from discomfort, but also protecting him from accountability. There's also the shadow of self-abandonment. This appears when your identity becomes centered around being understanding, supportive, or low maintenance. While those traits are beautiful, they can unintentionally signal that your needs are negotiable. Marriage requires friction. It requires two whole people willing to be seen. If one person consistently minimizes themselves, the relationship may never evolve into something that demands mutual growth. This is not about doing something wrong. It's about noticing what you've been overdoing. Ask yourself gently, do I soften my desires to keep peace? Do I wait for him to lead conversations I'm capable of starting? Do I fear that asking for more might make me too much? Jung believed that when the shadow becomes conscious, choice returns. You don't repel commitment by wanting marriage. You repel it when you unconsciously communicate that your needs can wait indefinitely. Awareness changes the pattern. Here is your affirmation. I allow my needs to be visible and honored. If this reading resonates with you, subscribe to help us to continue to put out readings just like this one. Ring 2, Anima Projection, Emotional Connection Without Direction. If you chose Ring 2, this message focuses on emotional bonding and how deep connection alone doesn't always lead to commitment. Carl Jung described the anima as the inner feminine image within a man. When this inner world is unresolved, a man may seek emotional fulfillment through connection without structure. Here's where the reflection begins. Some women create an emotionally rich space, deep conversations, empathy, vulnerability, inspiration. This can feel like intimacy, and it is, but intimacy without direction can unintentionally stall commitment. From a Jungian lens, when emotional closeness is abundant but expectations remain vague, the relationship can satisfy emotional needs without requiring life decisions. The unconscious message becomes, I feel understood here, I don't need to change anything. This isn't manipulation, it's psychology. Ask yourself, do we connect deeply, but avoid defining the relationship's future? Are emotions explored more than logistics? Does emotional closeness replace forward movement? Jung believed that growth requires containment, a structure that holds energy and gives it direction. Without structure, emotion circulates but never crystallizes. Marriage is structure. When emotional availability exists without clarity, A partner may feel emotionally nourished, but not compelled to anchor the relationship. This doesn't mean you should withhold emotion. It means emotion works best when paired with clear vision. Reflection. Am I emotionally present but strategically silent? Do I assume he knows instead of stating needs? Awareness allows balance, warmth and boundaries, connection and direction. Here is your affirmation. My emotions are grounded in clarity and purpose. If this reading resonates with you, subscribe to help us to continue to put out readings just like this one. Ring 3, the caretaker pattern, when nurturing replaces partnership. If you chose Ring 3, this message explores the difference between being nurturing and becoming indispensable. Jung identified the mother complex as a dynamic where nurturing replaces equality. This can happen subtly and with the best intentions. Caretaker energy looks like emotional regulation for both people, anticipating needs before they're spoken, making life easier without being asked. While care is healthy, over-caretaking can shift the relationship from partnership into dependence. From the unconscious perspective, the message can become, I'm supported here, not challenged. Marriage requires mutual responsibility. If one person consistently stabilizes the relationship, the other may never feel required to grow. Ask yourself honestly, do I manage emotional or practical aspects alone? Do I step in before discomfort forces growth? Do I confuse being needed with being chosen? Jung believed relationships mature through tension, not rescue. When nurturing replaces accountability, commitment can feel unnecessary because the role dynamics are already set. This isn't about doing less out of bitterness. It's about allowing space for reciprocity. Healthy partnership says, I support you, but I don't replace your responsibility. Here is your affirmation. I allow mutual effort and shared responsibility. If this reading resonates with you, subscribe to help us to continue to put out readings just like this one. Ring 4, individuation. Timing when self-development takes priority over union. If you chose Ring 4, this message centers on timing, not fate. Jung described individuation as the lifelong process of becoming one's authentic self. Relationships thrive when two individuals are capable of self-direction. Sometimes marriage is delayed not because love is missing, but because identity is unfinished. This can show up as durstande career instability, unclear purpose, emotional inconsistency, ongoing self-definition. From the psychological level, the message is, I don't know who I am yet. If you are further along in self-definition, the relationship may feel uneven. Without meaning to, you may wait, adjust, or pause your own growth. But when one partner is ready for union and the other is still individuating, commitment often stalls. Reflection. Am I postponing my own milestones to accommodate uncertainty? Do I interpret delay as loyalty? Am I honoring my own timing? Jung emphasized that union cannot replace individuation. It can only come after it. Marriage thrives between two self-directed people, not one leading and one searching. Here is your affirmation. I honor relationships that meet me in readiness and direction. If this reading resonates with you, subscribe to help us to continue to put out readings just like this one. Welcome back to Soul Reflections. If you've recently gone through a spiritual awakening and noticed that your finances feel harder instead of easier, this reading is for you. Today's message explores why financial struggle often follows awakening, not as punishment, but as a psychological and energetic recalibration. We're going to look at the hidden subconscious patterns, beliefs, and survival responses that activate when your identity shifts. Many people awaken spiritually before they're ready to reorganize their relationship with money, worth, safety, and power. And that internal mismatch creates tension in the material world. This is not a prediction. This is a mirror. The way this reading works is inspired by Carl Jung's psychological theory, specifically the idea that the subconscious communicates through symbols long before the conscious mind understands what's happening. Jung believed that when you're drawn to an image, object, or symbol without logical reasoning, it's because your unconscious mind already recognizes its message. You're not choosing randomly. Your subconscious is choosing for you. In front of you are 4 plants, each representing a different subconscious reason someone may be financially struggling after awakening. Without overthinking it, allow yourself to notice which plant you feel pulled toward. Pay attention to your first instinct. Your body knows before your mind does. Once you've chosen, stay with that pile to hear what your subconscious is trying to reveal. What's blocking your financial flow? And, most importantly, what shift helps restore balance? If this kind of psychological, spiritual depth resonates with you, make sure you subscribe to the channel. These readings are designed to help you understand yourself at a deeper level so you can move through life with clarity instead of confusion. Take a breath, trust your intuition, and choose your plant. Plant 1, the withered plant. Depletion, loss of vital energy, burnout after awakening. If you chose plant 1, your subconscious is showing a state of psychological depletion. According to Carl Jung, when the ego goes through a major awakening, it often abandons old survival structures too quickly. You may have rejected parts of yourself that once helped you survive, ambition, structure, discipline, even material desire, because they no longer felt spiritual. But the unconscious doesn't erase needs just because consciousness evolves. This plant reflects burnout, not failure. You gave too much energy to inner work, healing others, or finding meaning, while neglecting the basic psychological need for stability, rest, and nourishment. Financial struggle here is the psyche's way of saying, your roots are dry. What's holding you back? Unconscious belief that rest, money, or stability is less spiritual, over-identifying with struggle as proof of growth. Giving without replenishing yourself. How to break free. Concrete steps. 1. Restore structure before expansion. Create a simple daily financial ritual. Check your money once a day, no avoidance. Track spending weekly without judgment. 2. Reclaim permission to receive. Say this daily. Stability supports my spiritual growth. I am allowed to be supported. 3. Rebuild energy before goals. Sleep, nutrition, and routine come before manifestation. The psyche needs safety to create. Your finances will stabilize when your nervous system does. If this message resonates with you, let me know in the comments. And subscribe to help us continue putting out videos just like this one. Plant 2, the chained plant. Fear of power, guilt around money, self-restriction. If you chose plant 2, your subconscious is revealing self-imposed limitation. Jung spoke often about the shadow, the parts of ourselves we suppress because we fear what they might turn us into. In your case, the shadow is power. You associate money with control, ego, corruption, or becoming someone you don't respect. So unconsciously you restrain yourself, not because you can't succeed, but because success threatens your identity. The chains are not external. They are moral contracts you made with yourself. What's holding you back? Guilt about wanting more, fear that wealth disconnects you from your values, belief that struggle keeps you pure or authentic. How to break free. Concrete steps. 1. Rewrite your money identity. Write this sentence and finish it honestly. If I had more money, I'm afraid I would become. That answer reveals the chain. 2. Separate money from morality. Money amplifies who you already are. It doesn't change you. Repeat daily. Money gives me more choice, not less integrity. 3. Practice small acts of empowered choice. Spend intentionally once a week on something that supports your growth, without guilt. When you stop punishing yourself for wanting more, flow returns. If this message resonates with you, let me know in the comments. And subscribe to help us continue putting out videos just like this one. Plant 3, the plant in fire. Inner conflict, self-sabotage, destruction before creation. If you chose plant 3, your subconscious is highlighting inner war. Jung believed that when opposites within the psyche are not integrated, they turn destructive. One part of you wants freedom, meaning, and truth. Another part still fears survival, judgment, or loss of control. Instead of integrating these parts, they burn each other. Financial instability here comes from self-sabotage, starting over repeatedly, burning bridges, quitting too soon, or unconsciously choosing chaos over consistency. The fire isn't evil. It's uncontrolled transformation. What's holding you back? All or nothing thinking, destroying old systems without building new ones. Confusing intensity with progress. How to break free. Concrete steps. 1. Choose integration over rebellion. You don't need to destroy your old self, only update it. 2. Stabilize one financial container. Choose one consistent income stream or responsibility and commit for 90 days without quitting. 3. Slow down transformation. Growth that lasts is boring at first. That's how you know it's real. When the fire is contained, it becomes fuel, not destruction. If this message resonates with you, let me know in the comments. And subscribe to help us continue putting out videos just like this one. Plant 4. The overflowing plant. Misaligned abundance, leaks, and giving too much away. If you chose plant 4, your subconscious is showing mismanaged abundance. You are not blocked from money. You are leaking it. Jung taught that when the ego doesn't value itself properly, the unconscious compensates through overgiving, rescuing, or sacrificing. You may attract opportunities, ideas, or income, but it doesn't stay because boundaries are weak. You confuse generosity with self-erasure. What's holding you back? Overgiving time, energy, or resources. Undervaluing your work. Fear that saying no blocks abundance. How to break free. Concrete steps. 1. Install energetic boundaries. Before giving, ask, is this nourishing me too? 2. Raise standards, not effort. Charge fairly, ask clearly. Expect reciprocity. 3. Plug the leaks. Track where money, time, and energy leave without return, and close one leak this week. Abundance stays when it's respected. If this message resonates with you, let me know in the comments, and subscribe to help us continue putting out videos just like this one. If you're still watching, here is the collective message. No matter which plant you chose, there is one shared truth moving through this entire reading. According to Carl Jung, when consciousness expands faster than the psyche can reorganize, tension shows up in the material world. Money is one of the first places this tension appears. Not because you're doing something wrong, but because finances are deeply tied to safety, identity, worth, and survival. Spiritual awakening doesn't automatically dissolve psychological patterns. It reveals them. What you're experiencing is not failure, it's integration. Your subconscious is asking you to bring your inner insight into practical structure, to ground awareness into routine, to stop swinging between extremes, and instead create a stable bridge between who you were and who you're becoming. Jung believed wholeness comes not from rejecting parts of ourselves, but from integrating them. The part of you that seeks meaning and the part of you that seeks security are not enemies. They are meant to work together. Financial balance returns when intuition is paired with consistency, awareness is paired with action, healing is paired with responsibility. You are not meant to struggle forever to prove growth. You are meant to live the wisdom you've gained. Take what resonated, release what didn't, and trust that clarity comes when inner truth meets grounded choice. If this collective message resonated with you, let me know in the comments. And subscribe to help us continue putting out videos just like this one, designed to help you understand yourself, not judge yourself. Until next time, stay grounded, stay aware, and keep trusting your inner lens. Welcome back to Soul Reflections. This reading is designed to help you uncover the deeper parts of yourself that don't always show up on the surface. Your inner strengths, unconscious patterns, and the truths that quietly influence how you move through life. This is not about labels or predictions. It's about self-awareness and reflection. This experience is inspired by Carl Jung's psychological work, which focuses on how the subconscious mind communicates through symbols, instincts, and imagery. Jung believed that before the conscious mind explains why something resonates, the subconscious already knows what belongs to us. When you're drawn to an image without overthinking it, that response isn't random. It's your subconscious recognizing something familiar, something already within you. In front of you are 4 horses. Each horse represents a different inner truth or personal quality. Without analyzing or second-guessing yourself, notice which horse you feel naturally drawn to first. Trust that initial pull. That's where your subconscious speaks most clearly. Once you've chosen your horse, stay with that message to receive insight into who you are at a deeper level. and how this awareness can support your personal growth. And if these intuitive, psychology-based reflections resonate with you, make sure to subscribe to Soul Reflections. Your support allows us to continue creating content that helps you understand yourself, trust your intuition, and move forward with clarity. Take a breath, trust your intuition, and choose your horse. Horse 1, the quiet strength. If you chose Horse 1, the truth about you is that you possess a quiet power most people underestimate, including you. In Jungian psychology, this reflects a person whose strength lives beneath the surface. You are introspective, observant, and deeply self-aware. You don't rush to prove yourself because your psyche is rooted in inner stability rather than external validation. Even when you doubt yourself, your subconscious knows exactly who you are. You've likely learned to stay grounded during chaos. What feels like reserve or hesitation is actually discernment. You sense more than you say, and you move when it's right, not when it's loud. The truth is, when you trust your inner authority, others naturally follow your lead. You are not behind. You are building something solid within. If this message resonates with you, let me know in the comments. And subscribe to help us continue to put out videos just like this one. Horse 2, the visionary self. If you chose Horse 2, the truth about you is that your mind naturally moves beyond the present moment. Jung described this as a psyche that lives close to the self, the part of you that sees patterns, meaning, and possibility before others do. You are intuitive, imaginative, and often guided by a sense of destiny rather than logic alone. You may have felt different growing up or misunderstood because your inner world is expansive. But this is not escapism, it's foresight. You are wired to see what could be, not just what is. The truth is, when you ground your vision into consistent action, your ideas become powerful realities. You are here to inspire, illuminate, and reimagine what's possible. If this message resonates with you, let me know in the comments. And subscribe to help us continue to put out videos just like this one. Horse 3, the transformative force. If you chose Horse 3, the truth about you is that you are a force of transformation. In Jungian psychology, this reflects someone who has learned to turn inner intensity into growth. You feel deeply, act passionately, and are not afraid of change. Even your challenges have shaped you into someone resilient and self-aware. You are not meant for stagnation. Your subconscious pushes you toward evolution, sometimes through discomfort, sometimes through bold decisions. Where others retreat, you rise stronger. The truth is, when you channel your energy with intention, you become unstoppable. You are here to transform yourself and others through courage. If this message resonates with you, let me know in the comments. And subscribe to help us continue to put out videos just like this one. Horse 4, the grounded heart. If you chose Horse 4, the truth about you is that your strength lies in connection and emotional wisdom. Jung believed true wholeness comes from integrating feeling with strength, and that is your gift. You are compassionate, loyal, and deeply attuned to others. Your presence creates safety, and people feel seen around you, even when you say very little. You may have learned early how to balance responsibility with care. This has made you dependable and emotionally mature. Your subconscious understands that real power is steady, not forceful. The truth is, when you honor your needs as much as others, your life flows with harmony. You are here to build, nurture, and sustain meaningful bonds. If this message resonates with you, let me know in the comments. And subscribe to help us continue to put out videos just like this one. Welcome back to Soul Reflections. If you felt yourself changing on the inside, yet noticed a gap between who you are now and who you're becoming, this reading is for you. Today's message explores how to create a stable bridge between your current identity and your emerging self. Growth doesn't happen all at once. Often, the hardest part of transformation isn't knowing where you're going. It's learning how to move forward without feeling fragmented, uncertain, or stuck between worlds. This reading looks at the subconscious patterns that activate during transition, especially when old identities dissolve faster than new ones can fully form. This is not a prediction, this is a mirror. The way this reading works is inspired by Carl Jung's psychological theory, particularly the idea that the subconscious mind communicates through symbols long before the conscious mind can make sense of change. Jung believed that when you feel drawn to an image without logical reasoning, it's because your unconscious already recognizes its meaning. You're not choosing randomly. Your subconscious is choosing for you. In front of you are 4 bridges, each representing a different way the psyche attempts to move from who you have been into who you are becoming. Without overthinking, allow yourself to notice which bridge you feel pulled toward. Pay attention to your first instinct. Your body senses alignment before your mind explains it. Once you've chosen, stay with that bridge to understand what's stabilizing your transition, what may be causing hesitation or imbalance, and how to move forward with trust and clarity. If this kind of psychological and intuitive depth resonates with you, make sure you subscribe to Soul Reflections. These messages are created to help you understand yourself at a deeper level, so growth feels integrated rather than overwhelming. Take a breath, trust your intuition, and choose your bridge. Bridge 1, integrating the past self. If you chose Bridge 1, your subconscious is showing you that the key to stability is integration, not erasure. Jung taught that growth doesn't come from abandoning the past, but from consciously integrating it. Right now, you may be trying to outgrow who you were by distancing yourself from old identities, habits, or experiences. But what actually creates instability is rejecting parts of yourself that once kept you safe. This bridge forms when you honor the role your past self played in getting you here. Even the versions of you that feel outdated still carry wisdom, resilience, and strength. When you stop fighting your history and begin learning from it, your foundation strengthens. To create stability, ask yourself, what part of my past self am I trying to disown instead of understand? When you allow compassion instead of judgment, the bridge becomes solid. You don't move forward by cutting ties. You move forward by carrying forward what still serves you. If this message resonates, let me know in the comments. And if you'd like more reflections like this, subscribe to Soul Reflections so we can continue creating videos just like this one. Bridge 2, trusting the transitional space. If you chose Bridge 2, your subconscious is highlighting the importance of trust during uncertainty. In Jungian psychology, the space between identities is often the most uncomfortable, but it's also the most powerful. You may feel like you no longer fully belong to your old life, yet haven't quite arrived in the new one. This in-between phase can feel unstable, but it's actually where deep psychological restructuring happens. The bridge becomes stable when you stop rushing the transition. Growth isn't meant to be forced. It unfolds when you allow yourself to be present with not knowing. Your psyche is reorganizing itself behind the scenes. To strengthen this bridge, practice patience with yourself. You don't need all the answers yet. You just need self-trust. Ask yourself, can I stay grounded even while I'm still becoming? When you trust the process instead of resisting it, the bridge holds. If this message resonates, share it below. And subscribe to Soul Reflections to support more content like this. Bridge 3, confronting the inner resistance. If you chose Bridge 3, your subconscious is revealing that resistance, not fear, is what's destabilizing the bridge. Jung believed that what we resist in ourselves doesn't disappear, it intensifies. You may consciously want growth, but subconsciously fear the responsibility, visibility, or vulnerability that comes with becoming more fully yourself. This bridge stabilizes when you turn toward the parts of you that feel hesitant, protective, or unsure. These inner voices aren't enemies, they're signals. When acknowledged, they soften. To strengthen this bridge, ask, what part of me feels threatened by change? And what does it need to feel safe? Growth becomes stable when you stop overpowering your inner world and start listening to it. If this message resonates, let me know. And subscribe to Soul Reflections to help us continue offering insights like this. Bridge 4, embodying the future self now. If you chose Bridge 4, your subconscious is guiding you toward embodiment. Jung taught that transformation happens when the psyche aligns with action. You may clearly envision who you're becoming, but still be waiting for permission, certainty, or external validation before fully stepping into that identity. This bridge stabilizes when you begin living in alignment with your future self before everything feels settled. Not by pretending, but by practicing. Small daily choices, boundaries, and self-respect anchor the bridge into reality. Ask yourself, what would the version of me I'm becoming choose today? When behavior aligns with identity, the bridge no longer feels fragile. It becomes grounded. If this message resonates, share it below. And subscribe to Soul Reflections so we can continue creating content that supports your growth. Welcome back to Soul Reflections. If you've been doing everything right, thinking positively, staying faithful, staying aware, and yet money still feels delayed, tight or just out of reach, and this reading is for you. Today's message explores what you're being asked to stop worrying about, so that money can move towards you more naturally and with less resistance, not through force, not through hustle, but through a subtle psychological shift that changes how your inner world relates to safety, worth, control, and trust. This reading is not about manifesting faster. It's about removing the inner tension that slows money down. This is not a prediction. This is a mirror. The way this reading works is inspired by Carl Jung's psychological theory, particularly the idea that the subconscious mind communicates through symbols long before the conscious mind understands the message. Jung believed that when you are drawn to an image without logical reasoning, it's because your unconscious mind already recognizes what that symbol represents internally. You are not choosing randomly. Your subconscious is choosing for you. In front of you are 4 hats, each symbolizing a different mindset, role, or internal identity you may be unconsciously carrying, one that quietly affects how money responds to you. One of these perspectives is asking to be released, softened, or redefined so that financial flow can return to balance. Without overthinking it, notice which hat you feel pulled toward. Pay attention to your first instinct. Your body knows before your mind does. Once you've chosen, stay with that hat to hear what your subconscious is revealing, what it's asking you to stop worrying about, and how that shift allows money to come more freely and with less strain. If this kind of psychological and spiritual depth resonates with you, make sure you subscribe to Soul Reflections. These videos are created to help you understand yourself at a deeper level so you can move through life and money with clarity instead of anxiety. Take a breath, trust your intuition, and choose your hat. Hat 1. The Controller Mindset. What to stop worrying about. How everything will work out. If you chose Hat 1, your subconscious is revealing a deep attachment to control. Not because you are rigid, but because at some point, control became your form of safety. In Jungian psychology, this reflects an ego structure that learned early on. If I don't manage everything, things fall apart. Over time, this belief becomes exhausting. Money, in particular, responds poorly to excessive control because financial flow requires adaptability, trust, and timing, not constant mental pressure. You may be overthinking money, tracking it too tightly, replaying decisions, or trying to anticipate every outcome. Ironically, this keeps your nervous system in a state of vigilance. And when the psyche is vigilant, it signals scarcity, even when resources are available. The universal truth here is this: what you grip tightly cannot move freely. The shift is not letting go completely, but loosening your grip. Begin by separating responsibility from obsession. You are allowed to plan without panicking. You are allowed to care without controlling. Each time you catch yourself mentally rehearsing worst-case scenarios, pause and ask, is this problem happening right now, or am I borrowing stress from the future? Money begins to move when your system feels safe enough to receive, not just manage. If this message resonates, let me know in the comments, and subscribe to Soul Reflections so we can continue creating videos just like this one. Hat 2. the self-sacrifice identity. What to stop worrying about? Everyone else's stability. If you chose Hat 2, your subconscious is showing a pattern of over-responsibility for others. Jung would describe this as an inflated caretaker archetype, where worth becomes tied to usefulness and rest feels undeserved. You may unconsciously believe that if you slow down, choose yourself, or earn more than others around you, something bad will happen: guilt, rejection, or imbalance. As a result, money struggles to stay with you. Not because you don't deserve it, but because part of you associates abundance with disconnection. The universal truth is this: you cannot abandon yourself without consequences. Financial flow stabilizes when your psyche believes it is safe to prioritize your own needs without punishment. That begins with redefining responsibility. Supporting others does not mean rescuing them. Loving others does not mean carrying their emotional or financial weight. A practical shift. Notice where you say yes out of obligation rather than alignment. Start practicing small, guilt-free boundaries. Each boundary reinforces a new internal message: I am allowed to thrive and still be a good person. Money responds to self-respect. When you stop worrying about holding everything together for everyone else, your own foundation strengthens. If this message resonates, share it below, and subscribe to Soul Reflections to support more content like this. Hat 3. The fear of visibility. What to stop worrying about? Being seen, judged, or misunderstood. If you chose Hat 3, your subconscious is highlighting a fear of visibility. Jung believed that the shadow often contains not just what we hide in shame, but what we hide in fear of power. You may downplay your abilities, delay opportunities, or hesitate to fully step into your gifts because being seen feels risky. Visibility invites judgment, expectations, and responsibility, and part of you may still equate those with danger. But the universal truth is this: money flows toward clarity and presence. When you hide, minimize, or second-guess your value, you unintentionally signal uncertainty. The shift here is internal permission. You don't need to become louder, just more honest. Begin acknowledging your competence without apology. Practice owning your strengths in private first. Let your nervous system acclimate to the idea that visibility does not equal threat. Ask yourself, what part of me am I protecting by staying small? As you integrate that part instead of suppressing it, confidence becomes embodied, not forced, and money responds to embodiment. If this message resonates, let me know. And subscribe to Soul Reflections so we can continue sharing insights like this. Hat 4. The waiting for certainty mindset. What to stop worrying about? Being ready. If you chose Hat 4, your subconscious is revealing a pattern of postponement. Not from laziness, but from a belief that clarity must come before action. Jung taught that the psyche evolves through experience, not perfect understanding. Waiting to feel fully ready often keeps people trapped in potential rather than progress. Money, like growth, responds to movement, not perfection. The universal truth is this: clarity follows commitment, not the other way around. You may be waiting for confidence, the right timing, or external validation before moving forward. But readiness is built through engagement. Each small step signals to your subconscious that you trust yourself enough to proceed. The practical shift. Act from enough instead of certainty. Choose one aligned action you can take now without over-preparing. Let learning happen through motion. When you stop worrying about being fully ready, momentum replaces hesitation, and momentum attracts opportunity. If this message resonates, share it below, and subscribe to Soul Reflections to help us continue creating videos just like this one. Welcome to Soul Reflections. This space is inspired by Carl Jung's psychology and the understanding that the people we're drawn to are never random. They are reflections of the soul. Here we don't predict the future. We don't tell you who you should be. Instead, we explore how symbols, attraction, and intuition speak directly to the subconscious, revealing truths that already exist within you. According to Jung, attraction is not just preference, it's communication. The psyche uses people as mirrors, drawing us towards certain personalities to reveal what is developing, healing, or asking to be integrated within us. So the personality you feel drawn to today isn't about them. It's about you. It reflects an inner shift, something your subconscious is ready to understand, embody, or reclaim. There is no right or wrong choice here. Your mind doesn't choose. Your subconscious does. Take a moment. Breathe deeply. Let your body settle. Don't analyze. Don't compare. Just notice what draws you in first. Trust that pull. Choose the person that immediately stands out to you. I'll give you a moment. Gentleman 1, the grounded, warm, present personality. If you are drawn to this person, you attract individuals who feel safe, emotionally available, and quietly strong. According to Jung, this reflects an inner state where your psyche is seeking stability and embodiment. You attract this personality because, consciously or unconsciously, you are learning how to land in yourself. You may have spent much of your life in survival mode, thinking ahead, overanalyzing, or living in your head. This attraction signals a shift. Your nervous system wants rest, rhythm, and consistency. Jung taught that what we attract mirrors what is emerging within us, not just what we already possess. This personality appears when your subconscious is integrating the self archetype, the part of you that no longer needs chaos to feel alive. The lesson here is simple but powerful. Slow down your body and your life reorganizes. When you regulate your breath, posture, sleep, and daily routines, your outer world follows. Stability is not boring, it is fertile. If you often attract calm people, it's because your soul is learning that peace is not earned through struggle. It's accessed through presence. Ask yourself, where can I soften instead of push? Where can I choose consistency over intensity? This personality enters your life to show you that safety is a frequency, and you are learning how to hold it. If this message resonates, comment below and let us know. Subscribe to help us continue putting out videos just like this one. Gentleman 2, the ambitious, focused, leader-type personality. If this person stood out to you, you attract driven, high-functioning individuals who value direction, purpose, and mastery. Jung would say this reflects an activation of the hero and authority archetypes within your psyche. You attract this personality because part of you is stepping into self-responsibility. You may admire their discipline, confidence, or decisiveness because your subconscious knows you are capable of the same, but may not fully claim it yet. Often, people who attract leaders have spent years minimizing themselves, adapting, or carrying others emotionally. The psyche compensates by drawing in someone who acts where you hesitate. This is not about dependency, it's about integration. The message is not become like them, but rather own your own authority. Jung warned that when we disown power, we project it. This attraction asks you to reclaim your voice, boundaries, and direction. The moment you begin setting daily goals, honoring your word to yourself, and moving your body with intention, you stop outsourcing power. This personality shows up when your soul is ready to lead its own life. Ask yourself, where am I waiting for permission? Where can I act decisively instead of perfectly? Your attraction reveals your next level of self-respect. If this resonates, comment below and tell us. Subscribe to help us continue putting out videos just like this one. Gentleman 3, the intense, magnetic, emotionally complex personality. If you chose this person, you attract depth, passion, mystery. Jung would say this reflects the activation of the shadow and animus archetypes, the parts of the psyche that hold suppressed emotion, desire, and truth. You attract this personality because you are not meant for surface-level living. You feel deeply even when you hide it well. This attraction mirrors an inner call to feel without fear. Often, those who attract intense personalities have learned to suppress their own needs or emotions to maintain control. The psyche responds by pulling in someone who lives openly in their intensity, sometimes beautifully, sometimes chaotically. The lesson here is integration, not avoidance. Jung taught that what we reject in ourselves appears as fate. This personality asks you to stop repressing your truth. Speak sooner, feel fully. Set boundaries without guilt. When you channel emotion into the body, through movement, breath, creativity, or honest conversation, it no longer spills out as drama or pain. This attraction is not about suffering. It's about aliveness. Ask yourself, what truth am I afraid to express? What emotion wants space in my body? Your magnetism increases when you honor your inner fire instead of fearing it. If this message resonates, comment below. Subscribe to help us continue putting out videos just like this one. Gentleman 4. The playful, free-spirited, youthful personality. If this person caught your attention, you attract lightness, curiosity, and joy. Jung would associate this with the child and trickster archetypes, symbols of renewal, creativity, and freedom. You attract this personality because part of you is healing from seriousness. You may have carried responsibility early in life, becoming the strong one too soon. Your psyche now seeks balance. This attraction appears when the soul wants permission to enjoy life again. The subconscious chooses symbols that restore wholeness. This personality reminds you that growth doesn't have to hurt. Pleasure, laughter, and spontaneity are not distractions. They are regulators of the nervous system. Jung believed the child archetype appears when the psyche is preparing for rebirth. This is not regression, it's renewal. The lesson is embodiment through joy. Move your body in ways that feel good. Spend time in sunlight, play, create without outcome. These are not small things, they are transformative. Ask yourself, where can I choose delight without justification? Where can I let life be lighter? You attract this personality because your soul is remembering how to live. If this resonates, let us know in the comments. Subscribe to help us continue putting out videos just like this one. Welcome to Soul Reflections. This space is inspired by Carl Jung's psychology and the understanding that every shift we experience on the outside begins as a movement within the soul. Here we don't predict the future or tell you who you're supposed to be. Instead, we explore how symbols speak directly to the subconscious, revealing insight, awareness, and truth that already exist within you. Today's message is about the one physical shift your inner world is ready for. The kind of change that doesn't take months or years, but begins to reorganize your energy, confidence, and self-perception within the next 7 days. According to Jung, the things we're drawn to are never random. They're guided by the collective unconscious, the deeper part of the mind that knows what we need before the conscious mind catches up. So the woman you're drawn to isn't a coincidence. She represents the physical expression of something your psyche is ready to embody, integrate, or upgrade right now. This isn't about perfection. It isn't about becoming someone else. It's about aligning your outer world with who you already are becoming and removing the one physical block that's been quietly holding you back. This isn't just a message. It's an opening at your doorway, because the change you're seeking doesn't come from force but from alignment. There's no right or wrong choice. Trust what stands out to you first. Take a moment. Breathe deeply. Don't overthink it. Just allow. Choose the woman that immediately caught your attention. I'll give you a second. Row 1, the shift into embodied confidence. The physical shift that changes everything for you in the next 7 days is how you carry yourself. When no one is watching, Carl Jung believed the body expresses the psyche before the mind is aware of it. Right now, your body has learned to stay small, not because you lack confidence, but because at some point it felt safer not to take up space. Currently, your shoulders may be slightly forward, chin lowered, breath held just enough to stay alert. In Jungian terms, this is the persona adapting to survive, but it's no longer who you are. The shift you need to make is simple but profound. Upright presence. For the next 7 days, your practice is this. Stand fully in your body, spine long, chest open without force, feet grounded. Let your posture say, I am allowed to be here. This isn't about arrogance. It's about integration. When your body signals self-trust, your mind follows. Opportunities respond differently. People feel it. You feel it. Confidence isn't built by affirmations, it's built by alignment. Row 1, your step-by-step. Day plan for embodied confidence is upright presence and taking up space. The core shift here is posture and physical self-permission. Daily non-negotiable, 5 to 10 minutes. Stand tall with feet grounded. Roll shoulders back gently. Lift your chest slightly. Let your breath drop into your belly. Day by day focus. Day 1, awareness. Notice when you collapse or shrink. Day 2, correct posture every time you walk into a room. Day 3, make eye contact when speaking. Day 4, slow your walking pace. Day 5, sit upright during meals. Day 6, stretch chest, neck, and shoulders. Day 7, review how people responded differently to you. Why it works. The body signals authority before the mind believes it. Upright posture activates self-trust in the unconscious. If this message resonates, subscribe to Soul Reflections to help us continue creating videos just like this one. Row 2, the shift into nervous system safety. The one physical shift that changes everything for you in 7 days is learning to relax, without guilt. Jung taught that what we repress doesn't disappear. It shows up in the body, tightness, fatigue, overthinking. Your body has been living in a subtle state of vigilance, always scanning, always preparing. Your psyche is wise, but your body hasn't yet learned that it's safe to rest. The shift is intentional physical regulation. For the next 7 days, prioritize slow breathing, longer exhales, gentle movement, and deep rest. Not as escape, but as reprogramming. When your nervous system calms, clarity replaces anxiety. Decisions become easier. Energy returns. You don't need to push harder. You need to signal safety. When the body feels safe, the unconscious releases new possibilities. Row 2, your step-by-step, 7-day plan for nervous system safety is relaxation without guilt. The core shift you need to make is breathing and regulation, daily non-negotiable, 10 minutes. Take inhale for 4 seconds, exhale for 6 seconds. Repeat slowly, day by day focus. Day 1, notice tension without fixing it. Day 2, breathe before checking your phone. Day 3, take a 10-minute slow walk. Day 4, stretch gently before bed. Day 5, eat 1 meal slowly. Day 6, take a warm shower mindfully. Day 7, rest without explaining yourself. Why it works. When the body feels safe, the unconscious releases fear-based patterns and allows expansion. If this message resonates, subscribe to Soul Reflections so we can continue offering this depth and guidance. Row 3, the shift into disciplined self-respect. The physical shift that changes everything for you in 7 days is keeping one small promise to your body daily. Jung believed transformation occurs through conscious repetition. Right now, your psyche wants structure, not pressure. Your body wants to trust you again. Choose one physical commitment. Hydration, walking, stretching, nourishment, sleep, and honor it every day for 7 days. Not perfectly, consistently. Each time you follow through, your unconscious registers safety and self-respect. Confidence grows. Momentum builds. Motivation returns, not forced, but earned. This is how identity changes, not through big declarations, but through kept promises. You don't need more discipline. You need integrity with yourself. Row 3, your step-by-step 7. Day plan for disciplined self-respect is integrity with the body. The core shift you need to make is 1 kept physical promise. Choose 1 habit only. Hydration, walking, stretching, sleep, or nourishment. Day by day focus. Day 1, choose your promise. Day 2, complete it no matter how small. Day 3, notice pride instead of pressure. Day 4, repeat without negotiation. Day 5, acknowledge trust building. Day 6, strengthen commitment. Day 7, reflect on confidence gained. Why it works. Identity shifts through repetition. The psyche believes what the body consistently proves. If this message resonates, subscribe to Soul Reflections to support content that helps you embody real change. Row 4, the shift into sensual aliveness. The one physical shift that changes everything for you in 7 days is reconnecting to physical pleasure. Without justification, Jung understood that when pleasure is repressed, life loses color. Your body has been functioning, not feeling. The shift is to reawaken sensation. Warm showers, slow movement, textures, music, stretching, touch, not indulgence, presence. Pleasure grounds you in the present moment. And presence is where transformation happens. When your body remembers joy, your psyche remembers possibility. You don't need to earn pleasure. You need to allow it. Go for your step-by-step 7-day plan for sensual aliveness is reawakening pleasure and presence. The core shift you need to make is sensory engagement. Daily non-negotiable, 10-15 minutes. Choose one sensory pleasure per day. Day-by-day focus, day 1. Warm shower or bath. Day 2. Soft clothing or textures. Day 3. Music plus movement. Day 4. Stretching slowly. Day 5. Enjoy food mindfully. Day 6. Sunlight or fresh air. Day 7. Reflect on joy felt, why it works. Pleasure reconnects the psyche to life force. Presence dissolves stagnation. If this message resonates, subscribe to Soul Reflections so we can continue creating content that reconnects you to yourself. Your subconscious decides your income before you do. Welcome back to Soul Reflections. This message is for those who feel like money should be flowing more easily by now. Not because you're doing something wrong, but because something subtle is happening beneath the surface. Today's message explores the hidden money opportunities you may be missing subconsciously, not due to lack of effort, intelligence, or worth, but because the subconscious mind often prioritizes safety over abundance. According to Carl Jung's psychological theory, the subconscious communicates through symbols long before logic catches up. What you're drawn to reveals what your inner world is already responding to, even if you haven't named it yet. This is not a prediction. This is not fortune-telling. This is awareness. Money does not only respond to strategy. It responds to identity, belief, nervous system regulation, and unconscious patterns formed long before we realized they were there. In front of you are 4 stacks of money. Each one represents a different subconscious pattern that can either block or unlock financial opportunity. You're not choosing randomly. Your subconscious already knows where opportunity is waiting and what belief must shift for it to arrive. Without overthinking it, allow your attention to settle naturally. Notice which stack feels heavier, brighter, or more magnetic to you. There is no right or wrong choice, only recognition. Take a breath. Let your body decide before your mind interferes. Choose the stack that draws you in, and stay with that message to discover the hidden opportunity your subconscious is ready to activate. If this kind of psychological and spiritual depth resonates with you, make sure you subscribe to Soul Reflections. These messages are designed to help you understand yourself, so money becomes something you collaborate with, not chase. When you're ready, choose your stack. Stack 1. The missed opportunity of structure. If you chose this stack, your subconscious is revealing something important. Money is trying to reach you through structure, but your psyche has learned to associate structure with restriction instead of freedom. From a Jungian perspective, this reflects a tension between the ego, who wants control and certainty, and the shadow, who fears being trapped, limited, or overwhelmed by responsibility. Somewhere in your past, stability became emotionally coded as pressure, obligation, or loss of self. So even when opportunities arise that require consistency, planning, or discipline, part of you unconsciously resists. This doesn't mean you lack discipline. It means your nervous system learned that structure equals stress. The hidden opportunity here is learning to redefine structure as self-respect. Money flows more easily when your inner world feels safe enough to hold it. Right now, wealth is asking you to create containers, budgets, routines, timelines, systems, not as punishment, but as protection. When you wake up at the same time each day, when you track instead of avoid, when you choose order without perfection, your psyche begins to trust you. The shift is subtle but powerful. Structure doesn't cage you. It frees your creative energy. Once your unconscious realizes that consistency creates safety, opportunities that once felt heavy will feel supportive instead. Row 1, structure as safety. And creating order without self-punishment. Here's a 7-day personalized practice. Goal: teach your subconscious that structure is supportive, not restrictive. Day 1. Write down all sources of income and expenses without judgment. Awareness builds safety. Day 2. Choose one simple daily money habit: tracking, saving, invoicing. Keep it small. Day 3. Create a gentle routine around money. Same time each day, 10 minutes only. Day 4. Declutter one financial space: wallet, app, email, desk. Order calms the psyche. Day 5. Set one clear boundary around money. Say no, stop overgiving, pause spending. Day 6. Review what's working, not what's lacking. Day 7. Reflect. How did consistency change my stress level? Your key reframe: structure is not control, it's self-trust made visible. Daily morning meditation verse: let all things be done decently and in order. 1 Corinthians 14:40. Sit quietly each morning and repeat, order creates peace, peace attracts provision. If this message resonates, does it help you understand the hidden money opportunity you've been missing subconsciously? If so, subscribe to support the channel and help us continue creating videos just like this one. Stack 2: the missed opportunity of receiving. If this stack drew you in, your subconscious is pointing toward a deeply ingrained belief: you are far better at earning than receiving. Jung would describe this as an imbalance between the persona, the capable, responsible self you show the world, and the inner child, the part of you that learned love must be earned. You may unconsciously associate money with effort, struggle, or proving your worth, which means opportunities that come easily can feel suspicious, undeserved, or temporary. This is not laziness. This is conditioning. You may turn down help, underprice yourself, overgive before allowing yourself to receive. The hidden money opportunity here is allowing support without guilt. Wealth is not only created through action, it is sustained through openness. When you block receiving, you unintentionally block expansion. Your subconscious is asking you to practice a new truth: you don't need to suffer to be worthy. Ease is not a trap. Support is not weakness. Try this for 7 days. Say yes when help is offered. Charge what reflects your value. Pause before over-explaining or over-giving. Money responds when your nervous system learns it's safe to receive, without earning pain first. Row 2: receiving without guilt, and allowing money to come without suffering first. Here's a 7-day personalized practice. Goal: rewire the belief that money must be earned through struggle. Day 1. Notice where you reject help or minimize your needs. Just observe. Day 2. Say yes to one form of support, compliment, assistance, opportunity. Day 3. Raise one price, ask for fair pay, or stop undercharging. Day 4. Practice receiving without explanation or justification. Day 5. Give only from overflow, not obligation. Day 6. Write a list of ways money already supports you. Day 7. Rest intentionally without guilt. Your key reframe: receiving is a spiritual act, not a moral failure. Daily morning meditation verse: open your mouth wide and I will fill it. Psalm 81:10. Repeat slowly: I am allowed to receive without proving my worth. If this message resonates, does it reveal the hidden money opportunity you've been missing subconsciously? Subscribe to help us continue releasing videos like this one. Stack 3: the missed opportunity of trust. If you chose this stack, your unconscious is highlighting a subtle but powerful block. You trust your intuition, but not your timing. From a Jungian lens, this reflects an unresolved relationship between the self, your deeper knowing, and the ego's fear of uncertainty. You may receive intuitive ideas, flashes of inspiration, or creative urges, but hesitate to act because you fear being wrong, premature, or unsupported. So the opportunity doesn't disappear, it just waits. The hidden opportunity here is learning to act before certainty arrives. Money often follows aligned movement, not perfect clarity. When intuition speaks, it does so quietly, and delays cause doubt to replace direction. Your psyche isn't asking you to leap blindly. It's asking you to take small embodied action before fear rewrites the message. Send the email, post the idea, apply before you feel ready. Trust grows through motion. When you honor intuition with action, the unconscious aligns with confidence, and money flows toward clarity. Row 3: trusting intuitive action, and acting before certainty arrives. Here's a 7-day personalized practice. Goal: strengthen trust between intuition and action. Day 1. Write down intuitive nudges you've ignored. Day 2. Take one small action on an idea without overthinking. Day 3. Move before you feel ready, gently. Day 4. Release perfection, share, apply, or start imperfectly. Day 5. Notice how action quiets fear. Day 6. Follow intuition once more, even if it feels illogical. Day 7. Reflect on momentum created through trust. Your key reframe: clarity follows movement, not the other way around. Daily morning meditation verse: trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. Proverbs 3:5. Affirm daily: I move when guided, not when certain. If this resonates, does it clarify the hidden money opportunity you've been missing subconsciously? Subscribe to support more content like this. Stack 4. The missed opportunity of self-permission. If this stack stood out to you, your subconscious is revealing a core truth. You are waiting for permission that will never come. Jung would say this is the moment where the shadow self holds unrealized power. You may have internalized beliefs about staying humble, not outshining others, or not wanting too much. As a result, you unconsciously cap your expansion. Not because you lack ambition, but because you fear what visibility might cost you. The hidden opportunity is self-authorization. Money responds to ownership, to decisiveness, to choosing yourself without apology. This doesn't mean becoming aggressive or selfish. It means no longer shrinking your desires to stay emotionally safe. When you claim your right to expand, others adjust. When you stop waiting, doors open. The moment you internally decide I'm allowed, the psyche aligns, and opportunity follows. Row 4, self-permission to expand. And ending self-limitation and invisible ceilings. Here's a 7-day personalized practice. Goal: give yourself permission to want more without shame. Day 1. Write what you secretly desire financially. Don't edit. Day 2. Notice where you shrink to stay accepted. Day 3. Speak one desire out loud, even if it scares you. Day 4. Take one bold step aligned with expansion. Day 5. Stop explaining your goals to those who don't support them. Day 6. Practice visibility. Be seen without apology. Day 7. Claim your identity as someone who expands naturally. Your key reframe: permission precedes provision. Daily morning meditation verse: you shall remember the Lord your God, for it is He who gives you power to get wealth. Deuteronomy 8:18. Repeat with intention: I'm allowed to expand. Expansion is divinely supported. If this message resonates, does it help you see the hidden money opportunity you've been missing subconsciously? Subscribe to help us continue creating videos just like this one. Welcome to Soul Reflections. This message is grounded in Carl Jung's psychology and the understanding that our outer relationships are mirrors of our inner state. Here we don't predict the future or tell you who you should date. Instead, we explore how your current energy, your emotional patterns, beliefs, and unconscious habits shapes the type of relationship you naturally attract. Jung taught that we don't fall into relationships by accident. We are drawn to people who reflect unresolved parts of ourselves, emerging strengths or lessons our psyche is ready to integrate. Attraction is the subconscious communicating through symbols. So the couple you're about to choose isn't random. It represents the relational dynamic. Your inner world is most aligned with right. Now the kind of love, challenge, safety, passion, or growth your energy is broadcasting. This message isn't about judgment. It's about awareness, and awareness is power. There is no right or wrong choice. Trust what stands out to you first, before logic steps in. Take a slow breath. Let your mind soften. Don't analyze, just notice. Choose the relationship that immediately draws your attention. I'll give you a moment. This is the relationship your current energy is attracting. If you chose this relationship, your current energy is centered around stability, containment, and earned trust. This suggests your psyche has moved out of chaos and into a phase Jung would call ego consolidation, where the nervous system is no longer seeking intensity for validation, but coherence for safety. You are attracting a relationship that feels calm, grounded, and quietly powerful. Not because it's boring, but because your subconscious no longer equates love with emotional volatility. You are ready for consistency without losing depth. This kind of connection forms when someone has done enough inner work to recognize that peace is not the absence of passion, but the presence of regulation. If you start dating now, you are likely to draw in someone emotionally mature, reliable and steady, someone who values routine, presence and mutual respect. This relationship grows slowly, but its strength compounds over time. Jung believed that when we stop projecting our unmet needs, we attract partners who meet us as equals rather than saviors or adversaries. The work here is to allow this calm without sabotaging it. Your psyche may still carry old imprints that associate love with urgency. The integration comes from letting yourself receive safety without questioning it. If this message resonates, like and subscribe to help us continue to put out videos just like this one. This is the relationship your current energy is attracting me. If this relationship stood out to you, your current energy is deeply magnetic, expressive, and self-aware. This reflects a psyche that has integrated confidence with vulnerability, what Jung referred to as a balanced anima-animus exchange. You are attracting a relationship fueled by mutual admiration, passion, and visibility. This is the kind of dynamic where both partners inspire each other to expand, create, and step fully into their identity. You are no longer shrinking to be chosen. You are being seen because you are fully present in yourself. If you begin dating now, you're likely to attract someone confident, charismatic, and emotionally attuned, someone who meets your intensity rather than being overwhelmed by it. This relationship thrives on communication, shared vision, and emotional honesty. The shadow work here is not confusing chemistry with compatibility. Jung warned that unexamined attraction can become projection. The growth opportunity is staying rooted in discernment while enjoying the spark. This relationship mirrors your readiness to be both desired and respected, no longer one at the expense of the other. If this message resonates, like and subscribe to help us continue to put out videos just like this one. This is the relationship your current energy is attracting. If this relationship drew you in, your current energy is introspective, sensitive, and emotionally porous. This indicates a psyche in the midst of transformation, where old identities are dissolving, but new ones are still forming. You are attracting a relationship that feels emotionally deep, intimate, and psychologically intense. This partner is likely reflective, perceptive, and capable of meeting you in vulnerability. Jung would describe this as a phase where the unconscious is asking to be witnessed. If you start dating now, you may attract someone who activates your inner world, someone who brings profound emotional closeness, but also mirrors unresolved wounds. This is not punishment. It is invitation. The psyche attracts what it is ready to integrate. The work here is boundaries. Depth without structure can become emotional enmeshment. Growth comes from honoring your sensitivity while protecting your energy. This relationship has the potential to be healing if approached, consciously, and overwhelming if not. Awareness is the difference. If this message resonates, like and subscribe to help us continue to put out videos just like this one. This is the relationship your current energy is attracting. If you chose this relationship, your current energy is playful, embodied, and present-focused. This suggests your psyche has released heavy self-analysis and entered a phase of reconnection with joy. You are attracting a relationship built on laughter, shared experiences, and emotional lightness. This doesn't mean shallow, it means you are learning that love does not always need to be hard to be real. Jung believed individuation included reclaiming spontaneity, not just insight. If you begin dating now, you're likely to attract someone fun, expressive, and emotionally available in the moment. This relationship helps you reconnect with pleasure, embodiment, and relational ease. The shadow here is avoidance of depth. The integration comes from allowing joy and vulnerability to coexist. This relationship reflects your readiness to live, not just heal. If this message resonates, like and subscribe to help us continue to put out videos just like this one. Choose a home from the options in front of you. Each home is a window into your inner world. In Carl Jung's psychology, A house symbolizes the psyche, your inner mind and emotions. The home you're drawn to will reveal aspects of what's going on inside you right now. Let's dive in and discover what your choice says about you. Message 1. The structured, traditional home. Psychological theme: stability, order, grounded identity. If you chose this home, your psyche is prioritizing predictability and safety. In Jungian terms, this reflects a strong ego structure, the part of the mind that organizes reality, routines, and responsibility. This often emerges after instability. The psyche compensates by seeking order. From a neuroscience perspective, this choice aligns with a nervous system that has spent time in threat or uncertainty. When the brain experiences prolonged stress, the amygdala becomes hypervigilant. The mind then gravitates towards structure, because predictability calms the nervous system. Structure lowers cognitive load. It reduces decision fatigue and stabilizes dopamine release by creating reliable reward loops. This is why routines feel soothing right now. This message isn't saying you're rigid. It's saying your brain is rebuilding trust in consistency. The growth edge here is flexibility. Once safety is restored, the psyche naturally seeks expansion again. Awareness turns stability into strength, not stagnation. Does this message resonate with you? Like and subscribe to help us continue to put out videos just like this one. Message 2. The modern, open home. Psychological theme: expansion, future orientation, autonomy. If you chose this home, your psyche is oriented toward possibility and forward momentum. In Jungian psychology, this reflects a dominant conscious attitude, a strong identification with growth, progress, and self-definition. You are future-focused, often living a few steps ahead of the present moment. Neuroscience explains this through dopamine-driven motivation. Open spaces, novelty, and minimalism activate the brain's reward system, reinforcing exploration and goal pursuit. However, highly future-oriented brains can sometimes suppress emotional processing. When the prefrontal cortex leads too strongly, the limbic system may not fully discharge stored emotions. This doesn't mean you're disconnected. It means your mind has learned that movement feels safer than stillness. The integration here is embodiment, allowing pauses, sensations, and emotional presence without losing momentum. Growth doesn't require speed. It requires integration. Does this message resonate with you? Like and subscribe to help us continue to put out videos just like this one. Message 3. The cabin, secluded home. Psychological theme: restoration, authenticity, inner repair. If you chose this home, your psyche is asking for nervous system recovery. Jung would describe this as a movement toward the self, the deeper, organizing center beyond ego roles. This often arises when external expectations have overridden internal truth. From a neuroscience standpoint, solitude reduces sensory input and allows the nervous system to exit. Chronic sympathetic activation, fight or flight. Quiet environments increase parasympathetic tone, supporting healing, digestion, emotional regulation, and insight. This choice often appears after burnout, emotional overload, or relational fatigue. The brain is seeking conditions where it can safely process unresolved material. Isolation here is not avoidance, it's recalibration. The growth edge is reintegration. Solitude restores clarity, so connection can later occur without self-abandonment. Stillness is not stagnation, it is preparation. Does this message resonate with you? Like and subscribe to help us continue to put out videos just like this one. Message 4. The cozy storybook home. Psychological theme: emotional safety, inner child integration. If you chose this home, your psyche is prioritizing emotional warmth and belonging. In Jungian terms, this reflects the child archetype, the part of the psyche connected to vulnerability, imagination, and emotional truth. This archetype surfaces when unmet emotional needs are ready to be acknowledged. Behavioral neuroscience shows that environments associated with warmth and familiarity activate oxytocin, the bonding hormone. This calms the stress response and reinforces feelings of safety and connection. This choice often appears when someone has been emotionally self-reliant for too long. The nervous system is asking for softness, not weakness, but regulation through connection. The integration here is boundaries. Emotional openness paired with discernment creates secure attachment rather than emotional overgiving. Safety is not something you find. It's something you learn to generate. Does this message resonate with you? Like and subscribe to help us continue to put out videos just like this one. This space is inspired by Carl Jung's psychology and the idea that every choice we make is a reflection of the soul. Here we don't predict the future or tell you who you're supposed to be. Instead, we explore how symbols speak to the subconscious, revealing insight, awareness, and truth already within you. The siren you're drawn to isn't random. It reflects what your inner world is ready to understand, heal, or awaken. Take a breath, trust what stands out to you, and allow this reflection to meet you exactly where you are. Each siren represents the hidden truth that already exists within you, and the message you'll hear is meant to bring awareness to what your soul is ready to unlock right now. There's no right or wrong choice, trust the one that stands out. To you first, your choice is a reflection, and sometimes reflection is exactly what we need to grow. Now take a second and I'll give you some time to choose. Message 1. The inner siren of emotional presence. A siren is not just a mythical figure in psychology. She represents magnetic emotional awareness, instinctive intuition, and authentic expression of the self. She draws people in not through performance or perfection, but through energy that feels real, emotionally intelligent and deeply resonant. The inner siren is the part of you that feels before it thinks, that draws connection without force, and that creates depth rather than surface attraction. Right now, you may already be operating partially in this energy, especially in relationships or spaces where you feel safe enough to be vulnerable. But if you've learned to wear armor or silence parts of your feeling self to fit in or avoid conflict, your siren may be muted. When your inner siren is underused, people might notice you. But they don't feel you, they notice your exterior before they sense your interior. Carl Jung taught us that the unconscious holds the keys to the parts of ourselves we deny or suppress. When you're drawn to a symbol, an image, or a story that feels deep or meaningful, it's often the siren speaking to you, a reminder that true connection comes from emotional honesty, not performance. Tapping into your inner siren starts with emotional presence. Notice how you feel before you edit yourself. Sit with your emotional reactions instead of suppressing them. Speak from your heart rather than your head. Allow your sensitivity to be a strength, not a flaw. When you embody this energy fully, people don't just see you, they feel you. Conversations become more honest. Relationships become richer, and your presence is valued beyond superficial charm. The benefit of living in siren energy isn't just attraction, it's transformation. You create deeper intimacy, stronger self-awareness, and a sense of inner peace that comes from expressing your truth. Your siren is already inside you. It asks only that you stop dimming, stop editing, and start feeling, because what you feel is the language of your soul. Message 2. The inner siren of intuition and authentic magnetism. The inner siren is not a costume. It is a deep psychological archetype, rooted in intuition, embodiment, and magnetic self-knowledge. In myth, sirens lure with irresistible song. In the human psyche, the siren draws through authentic resonance and inner, knowing that bypasses the brain and speaks directly to others' subconscious. This is not ego charm, but soulful attraction. Many women have learned to replace authenticity with likability. You may smile, adapt, or tone yourself down to be acceptable. That suppresses your siren. Jung called this the persona, the mask we wear to fit expectations. Meanwhile, the siren lives in the unconscious, whispering through dreams, symbols, and that voice inside that says, be real. Are you operating in this energy right now? If you attract people based on what you do rather than who you truly are, your siren is not yet awakened. If you find yourself performing or pleasing to be liked, then the energy you're projecting is constructed, not magnetic. To tap into your siren, notice your impulses before you judge them. Speak truths even when they're uncomfortable. Embrace your emotional depths without hiding them. Allow mystery, not manipulation, to be part of your expression. When your siren stirs, you become less predictable and more compelling. People feel drawn to you because they sense there's more beneath the surface, something unique, something real, something alive. The benefit of this energy is not just attention, it's influence without forcing, connection without strategy, and relationships that flow because you're present, not performative. Your inner siren is not a facade. She is your authentic core speaking without apology. Message 3. The inner siren of somatic wisdom and emotional depth. The inner siren archetype is not about seduction in the cliché sense. She is the embodiment of your unconscious life. Force the part of you that knows before your mind does. Carl Jung described the unconscious as a reservoir of wisdom, power, and instinct. The siren is one of its voices, the one that speaks through sensation, attraction, and intuitive pull. A woman with siren energy feels things deeply. You notice nuance. You sense emotional undertones in others before they are spoken. Instead of reacting, you absorb, and from that space comes your unique power. But many women disconnect from this part of themselves because intense feeling is often labeled as too much or emotional. So they intellectualize instead. This dims the siren. Signs your inner siren is asleep. You disconnect from your body in favor of logical thinking. You suppress your desires to avoid conflict. You attract people who misunderstand your depth. To awaken her, slow down and feel before you think. Notice sensations in your body during decisions. Allow emotional clarity to guide action. When you tap into this energy, your presence becomes felt, not just seen. People are drawn to you because you vibrate with what's real, not what's sanitized. This isn't about seduction. It's about embodied authenticity. The benefit: you form relationships that feel sincere, purposeful, and mutually nourishing. You become a force of emotional depth and stability, not chaos. Your siren is a guide, not a trap, a source of clarity, not confusion. You are not too much. You are real enough to be unforgettable. Message 4. The inner siren as a gateway to self-integration. In psychology, a siren symbolizes more than a lure. She represents the integration of the conscious and unconscious self, a harmony between inner truth and outer expression. Jung emphasized that self-realization occurs when we own parts of ourselves we've rejected. The siren is one of those parts. She is what remains when you strip away societal expectations and personal self-criticism. Many women know the siren only through longing or attraction, the sense that something powerful is just out of reach. This is because the siren lives in the unconscious as both a call and a mirror. She reflects the parts of you that you admire, fear, or deny. That's why people often feel drawn to symbolism: the heart, the moon, the ocean, before they understand why. These are siren energies speaking through symbols. Are you channeling this energy today? If you adapt yourself to others' expectations or hide parts of your personality to be accepted, the siren is partly dormant. She speaks in dreams, impulses, and attraction, but remains unexpressed. To fully embody her, practice these: radical honesty with yourself, acceptance of desire without shame, alignment between emotion, intuition, and action. The inner siren is not about being unrestrained, it is about being whole. When you claim her energy, you stop splitting yourself between what you feel and what you show. The world responds not to perfection, but to integrity. The benefit of this awakening is profound. You attract not what you want, but what matches your depth. You no longer chase validation, you emanate presence. You not only draw in meaningful connection, you become someone who sustains it. This is not a fantasy. This is psychological wholeness. This space is inspired by Carl Jung's psychology and the idea that every choice we make is a reflection of the soul. Here we don't predict the future or tell you who you're supposed to be. Instead, we explore how symbols speak to the subconscious, revealing insight, awareness, and truth already within you. The weapon you're drawn to isn't random. It reflects what your inner world is ready to understand, heal, or awaken. Take a breath, trust what stands out to you, and allow this reflection to meet you exactly where you are. Each battle weapon represents the hidden truth that already exists within your soul, and the message you'll hear is meant to bring awareness to what your soul is ready to unlock right now. There's no right or wrong choice. Trust the one that stands out. To you first, your choice is a reflection, and sometimes reflection is exactly what we need to grow. Now take a second and I'll give you some time to choose. Weapon 1: the sword. The battle of truth versus illusion. Your soul is fighting a battle between clarity and self-deception. In Jungian psychology, this is the confrontation with the shadow. The parts of yourself you've learned to deny, repress, or rationalize away. The sword represents discernment, the ability to cut through illusion and face reality honestly, while your soul is in this state. From a neuroscience perspective, the brain is wired to avoid discomfort. The amygdala seeks safety, while the prefrontal cortex seeks truth. When these two are out of alignment, we cling to narratives that protect us emotionally, even when they limit us. Biblically, this mirrors the truth will set you free. John 8:32. Freedom comes after truth, not before it. The benefit of knowing this: once you recognize that your inner conflict is about truth, shame loosens its grip. Awareness restores agency. You stop fighting yourself and start fighting for yourself. How to fight this battle? Practice radical self-honesty without self-judgment. Notice where your reactions are defensive rather than reflective. Journal what you avoid thinking about and why. Signs you're already winning. You feel calmer telling the truth even when it's uncomfortable. You no longer need others to validate what you already know. Your decisions feel cleaner, lighter, more aligned. The sword doesn't destroy, it reveals. If this resonated with you, please like and subscribe to help us continue to put out videos just like this one. Weapon 2: the axe. The battle of attachment versus release. Your soul is fighting to let go of what once kept you safe, but now keeps you stuck. In Jungian terms, this is the collapse of outdated complexes, emotional patterns formed in childhood that no longer serve your adult self, while your soul is in this state. Behavioral neuroscience shows that the brain forms emotional bonds through repetition, not logic. Even pain can feel familiar, and familiarity feels safe. Biblically, this reflects you cannot pour new wine into old wineskins, Mark 2:22. Growth requires release. The benefit of knowing this: when you realize the battle is about attachment, not failure, you stop blaming yourself. You understand that resistance is not weakness, it's conditioning. How to fight this battle? Identify what you're holding on to out of fear, not love. Interrupt emotional loops by changing behavior before emotion. Grieve what you're releasing, honor it, don't suppress it. Signs you're already winning. You feel discomfort but not confusion. You're less reactive when things end or change. You're creating space without rushing to fill it. The axe isn't violent, it's liberating. If this resonated with you, please like and subscribe to help us continue to put out videos just like this one. Weapon 3: the shield. The battle of boundaries versus self-betrayal. Your soul is learning how to protect itself without closing its heart. Jung would describe this as healing the persona, the mask worn to be accepted at the cost of authenticity, while your soul is in this state. Neuroscience shows that people-pleasing activates reward circuits tied to survival. Approval once meant safety. Biblically, above all else, guard your heart, Proverbs 4:23. The benefit of knowing this: you stop seeing boundaries as rejection and start seeing them as self-respect. How to fight this battle? Say no without explanation. Let others be uncomfortable without rescuing them. Separate compassion from responsibility. Signs you're already winning. Guilt no longer controls your decisions. You feel stronger after saying no, not weaker. Your energy is stable, not drained. The shield doesn't isolate, it preserves. If this resonated with you, please like and subscribe to help us continue to put out videos just like this one. Weapon 4: the dagger. The battle of courage versus fear. This is the most intimate battle. The dagger represents confronting what you avoid internally. Quiet fears, hidden grief, unspoken desires, while your soul is in this state. Fear lives in the nervous system. Avoidance strengthens it. Presence dissolves it. Biblically, God has not given us a spirit of fear, 2 Timothy 1:7. The benefit of knowing this: you stop running from yourself. Power returns the moment you stay. How to fight this battle? Sit with discomfort without distraction. Name the fear instead of suppressing it. Act gently but decisively anyway. Signs you're already winning. Fear no longer paralyzes you. You trust yourself under pressure. Peace replaces adrenaline. The dagger doesn't wound, it awakens. If this resonated with you, please like and subscribe to help us continue to put out videos just like this one. This space is inspired by Carl Jung's psychology and the idea that every choice we make is a reflection of the soul. Here we don't predict the future or tell you who you're supposed to be. Instead, we explore how symbols speak to the subconscious, revealing insight, awareness, and truth already within you. The symbol you're drawn to isn't random. It reflects what your inner world is ready to understand, heal, or awaken. Take a breath, trust what stands out to you, and allow this reflection to meet you exactly where you are. Each symbol represents the hidden truth that already exists within you, and the message you'll hear is meant to bring awareness to what your soul is ready to unlock right now. There's no right or wrong choice, trust the one that stands out. To you first, your choice is a reflection. And sometimes, reflection is exactly what we need to grow. Now take a second and I'll give you some time to choose. Message 1: The aligned self. What does my best version look and feel like? If you were drawn to this symbol, your best version feels internally aligned. There is less mental noise, less emotional whiplash, and a deep sense of self-trust. Neuroscience shows that when a person's thoughts, emotions, and actions are congruent, the brain enters a state of coherence. This is when decision-making improves, anxiety lowers, and confidence stabilizes. Carl Jung called this state individuation, when the conscious and unconscious stop pulling in opposite directions. Biblically, this reflects a house divided against itself cannot stand. Under Mark 3:25, your best self is unified. What's been holding you back is inner contradiction. You've known what's right for you, but you've delayed acting on it, often to avoid conflict, loss, or discomfort. The nervous system interprets that hesitation as danger, keeping you stuck in stress patterns. How to reach your best version. Begin acting in alignment, even when it's uncomfortable. Alignment precedes confidence, not the other way around. Small, consistent integrity rewires the brain faster than big declarations. Benefits: peace, decisiveness, emotional stability. Life feels simpler because you're no longer negotiating with yourself. Signs: you're already there. You trust your decisions. You feel calm after choosing, even if it's hard. You don't ruminate as much. How to maintain it: daily self-honesty. Scripture says, let your yes be yes. That's alignment. If this resonated with you, please like and subscribe to help us continue to put out videos just like this one. Message 2: The regulated self. My best version feels safe inside my body. If you chose this symbol, your best version feels emotionally regulated. Behavioral neuroscience shows that growth cannot happen when the nervous system is stuck in fight or flight. Your best self is not reactive, it's responsive. Jung understood that unresolved emotion lives in the unconscious and hijacks behavior. Biblically, God is not a God of confusion, but of peace. 1 Corinthians 14:33. Peace is not avoidance, it's regulation. What's holding you back is chronic stress conditioning. You've been functioning in survival mode for so long that chaos feels normal. How to combat it? Slow the body first. Breath, sleep, routine, and consistency come before motivation. Regulation is biological, not moral. Benefits: clarity, patience, emotional resilience. You stop overreacting and start responding. Signs: you're already there. Faster emotional recovery. Less need to explain yourself. Calm in situations that once triggered you. How to maintain it? Protect your nervous system like Scripture says. Above all else, guard your heart. If this resonated with you, please like and subscribe to help us continue to put out videos just like this one. Message 3: The conscious self. My best version is awake, not autopilot. This symbol reflects awareness. Your best self feels present. Neuroscience shows that awareness interrupts unconscious habit loops. Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Biblically, this is be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Romans 12:2. What's holding you back is unconscious repetition. Patterns learned early that you never questioned. How to reach your best version? Notice patterns without judgment. Awareness itself weakens them. Benefits: freedom of choice, clarity, self-mastery. Signs you're already there. You catch yourself mid-pattern. You pause before reacting. You feel less controlled by emotion. Maintain it through reflection. Awareness is a practice. If this resonated with you, please like and subscribe to help us continue to put out videos just like this one. Message for the empowered self. What does my best version look and feel like? If you were drawn to this symbol, your best version feels strong, self-directed, and internally authoritative. This is not dominance or ego. It's grounded power, the kind that doesn't need to prove itself. Behavioral neuroscience shows that when a person believes they can influence outcomes, the brain releases dopamine in a way that increases motivation, confidence, and resilience. Power, when integrated, stabilizes the nervous system instead of overstimulating it. Carl Jung described this as integrating the shadow, the parts of yourself that hold instinct, assertiveness, anger, ambition, and raw life force. When these parts are rejected, they don't disappear. They turn inward as anxiety or outward as self-sabotage. Biblically, this aligns with the meek shall inherit the earth. Meekness is not weakness. It is strength under control. What your best version looks like. You take responsibility for your life without resentment. You make decisions even when outcomes aren't guaranteed. You no longer wait for permission to act on what you know is right. Others sense your presence immediately, not because you're loud, but because you're grounded. What's been holding you back? You were likely taught that power was dangerous, selfish, or disruptive. So you learned to suppress it to stay safe, liked, or accepted. Neuroscience confirms that suppressed assertiveness often shows up as chronic tension, irritability, or burnout. You've been carrying strength without direction. How to fight this inner battle? Start by honoring your instincts instead of second-guessing them. Practice setting boundaries without apology. Use discipline, not force. Jung believed that conscious power transforms chaos into purpose. Benefits of becoming your best self. Confidence becomes natural. You stop over-explaining. You trust your ability to handle what comes. Leadership emerges, first within yourself, then outwardly. Signs you're already operating in this state. You can say no without guilt. You feel capable under pressure. You don't abandon yourself to keep peace. How to maintain it? Anchor power to values. Scripture reminds us, to whom much is given, much is required. Power stays healthy when it serves purpose. If this resonated with you, please like and subscribe to help us continue to put out videos just like this one. Message 5, the whole self. What does my best version look and feel like? If this symbol stood out to you, your best version feels whole, accepting, and internally peaceful. Not perfect, not finished, but complete. Neuroscience shows that self-acceptance reduces stress hormones and increases emotional regulation. When the brain no longer perceives parts of the self as threats, it stops fighting internally. Carl Jung believed that healing happens not through elimination, but integration. Every rejected part of the psyche becomes a source of suffering. Biblically, this aligns with a cord of 3 strands is not easily broken. Wholeness is strength. What your best version looks like. You stop trying to erase your past or outgrow your humanity. You allow contradictions. You no longer define yourself by your worst moments or limit yourself to your best ones. There's a quiet humility and confidence in how you move through life. What's been holding you back? Fragmentation. You've been trying to fix yourself instead of understand yourself. Shame taught you that certain emotions, desires, or experiences made you unworthy. Neuroscience shows that shame fractures identity, keeping the brain in self-monitoring mode instead of growth mode. How to fight this inner battle? Practice self-compassion without self-indulgence. Name all parts of yourself, even the uncomfortable ones, without condemnation. Jung taught that what we accept transforms, what we resist persists. Benefits of becoming your best self. Inner peace, emotional maturity. You stop seeking external validation because you no longer feel internally divided. Life feels meaningful, not rushed. Signs you're already operating in this state. You're less reactive to criticism. You feel at home in your body and mind. You don't need to prove or perform. How to maintain it? Stay reflective. Stay humble. Stay present. Scripture says, "He who began a good work in you will carry it to completion." Wholeness is not achieved, it's allowed. If this resonated with you, please like and subscribe to help us continue to put out videos just like this one. This space is inspired by Carl Jung's psychology and the idea that every choice we make is a reflection of the soul. Here, we don't predict the future or tell you who you're supposed to be. Instead, we explore how symbols speak to the subconscious, revealing insight, awareness, and truth already within you. The shoes you're drawn to isn't random. It reflects what your inner world is ready to understand, heal, or awaken. Take a breath. Trust what stands out to you, and allow this reflection to meet you exactly where you are. Each pair of shoes represents the hidden truth that already exists within you, and the message you'll hear is meant to bring awareness to what your soul is ready to unlock right now. There's no right or wrong choice. Trust the one that stands out to you first. Your choice is a reflection, and sometimes reflection is exactly what we need to grow. Now take a second and I'll give you some time to choose. Choice 1. The path of grounding and integration. If you chose pair 1, your soul is asking one question. Can I move forward without abandoning myself? This path reveals a season of integration, where growth is not about acceleration, but alignment. Are you headed in the right direction? Yes, but only if you stop rushing your own nervous system. Behavioral neuroscience shows that sustainable change happens when the brain feels safe, regulated, and consistent, not pressured. When people override rest in pursuit of progress, the amygdala stays activated, leading to burnout, indecision, and emotional regression. Your soul recognizes this. Carl Jung called this stage individuation through the ordinary, learning to bring unconscious wisdom into daily life. The psyche matures not through dramatic transformation, but through repeated, honest choices. Biblical wisdom echoes this. Let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us. Hebrews 12:1. Not someone else's race, yours. The direction you should be heading. Toward consistency over intensity. Toward habits that honor your body, emotions, and spirit equally. Signs you're already on the right path. You feel less reactive. You're choosing peace over proving. Your intuition feels quieter, but clearer. You're no longer forcing clarity. It's arriving naturally. If you feel stuck, you may be mistaking stillness for failure. This phase is where foundations are laid. Divine insight. God often slows us down not to delay us, but to protect what's coming next. If this resonated with you, please like and subscribe to help us continue to put out videos just like this one. Choice 2. The path of self-expression and worth. If you chose pair 2, the soul is revealing a battle between visibility and self-worth. Are you headed in the right direction? Only if your confidence is rooted, not performed. Neuroscience shows that when validation comes externally, dopamine spikes briefly, then crashes. But when worth is internally anchored, serotonin stabilizes mood, confidence, and resilience. Your psyche knows the difference, even if your habits don't yet. Carl Jung associated this archetype with the persona, the mask we present to the world. The work here isn't removing the mask, it's making sure it reflects truth, not insecurity. Biblical alignment. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. Psalm 139:14. Worth is inherent, not earned. The direction you should be heading. Toward authentic expression without self-abandonment. Signs you're already on this path. You no longer explain yourself excessively. Compliments feel affirming, not necessary. You choose environments that respect you. You're visible, without feeling exposed. What blocks this path? Confusing admiration with connection, performing strength instead of embodying it, divine wisdom. When God elevates you, it's not for applause, it's for stewardship. If this resonated with you, please like and subscribe to help us continue to put out videos just like this one. Choice 3. The path of discipline and purpose. If you chose pair 3, your soul is engaged in a character-building season. Are you headed in the right direction? Yes, but it requires endurance, not shortcuts. Neuroscience confirms that resilience rewires the brain. Repeated exposure to challenge with meaning strengthens prefrontal control, emotional regulation, and long-term clarity. Jung viewed this as shadow integration, facing discomfort rather than bypassing it. This path forges identity. Biblical truth. Suffering produces perseverance. perseverance, character. Romans 5:3-4. The direction you should be heading. Toward purpose-driven effort, not emotional avoidance. Signs you're succeeding. You finish what you start. You tolerate discomfort without panic. You no longer romanticize struggle. Your confidence is quiet, but solid. What derails this path? Seeking ease before mastery, avoiding responsibility disguised as self-care. Divine insight. God trains warriors before he entrusts authority. If this resonated with you, please like and subscribe to help us continue to put out videos just like this one. Choice 4. The path of authority and legacy. If you chose pair 4, your soul is stepping into self-governance. Are you headed in the right direction? Yes, if you accept responsibility without control. Neuroscience shows mature leadership correlates with emotional regulation, delayed gratification, and value-driven decisions. This is executive functioning at its highest level. Jung called this the self-archetype, where inner authority replaces external validation. Biblical alignment. To whom much is given, much is required. Luke 12:48. The direction you should be heading. Toward impact over image. Signs you're already there. You lead without dominating. You make decisions without fear. You attract respect, not chaos. Your peace doesn't depend on outcomes. What can block this? Control masquerading as leadership, fear of outgrowing familiar identities, divine wisdom. True authority flows from alignment, not force. If this resonated with you, please like and subscribe to help us continue to put out videos just like this one. Welcome to Soul Reflections. This space is inspired by Carl Jung's psychology and the idea that every choice we make is a reflection of the soul. Here we don't predict the future or tell you who you're supposed to be. Instead, we explore how symbols speak to the subconscious, revealing insight, awareness, and truth already within you. The teddy bear you're drawn to isn't random. It reflects what your inner world is ready to understand, heal, or awaken. Take a breath, trust what stands out to you, and allow this reflection to meet you exactly where you are. Each teddy bear represents the hidden truth that already exists within you, and the message you'll hear is meant to bring awareness to what your soul is ready to unlock right now. There's no right or wrong choice. Trust the one that stands out. To you first, your choice is a reflection. And sometimes, reflection is exactly what we need to grow. Now take a second and I'll give you some time to choose. Bear 1, what you're looking for is safety. If you chose this bear, what your soul is searching for right now is emotional safety. Not comfort, not escape, but a felt sense of being secure within yourself. From a behavioral neuroscience perspective, this reflects a nervous system that has been living in survival mode. When the brain experiences prolonged stress, uncertainty, or emotional unpredictability, the amygdala stays activated. Your subconscious choice reveals a desire to downshift from hypervigilance into regulation. Carl Jung taught that the psyche seeks balance. When safety has been missing externally, the soul begins seeking it internally. This bear symbolizes the self. Archetypes call for containment, a stable inner structure where emotions can exist without overwhelm. Biblically, this aligns with "Be still and know that I am God," Psalm 46:10. Stillness is not passive, it is the return to trust. Safety restores the ability to be still without fear. Why this makes you feel whole? Safety allows integration. When you feel safe, fragmented parts of the psyche, the inner child, the shadow, the wounded self, no longer need to hide. Wholeness occurs when nothing inside you feels threatened. How to obtain it? Create predictability in small daily rituals. Speak honestly with yourself. Instead of suppressing emotion, slow your body before trying to fix your life. Anchor yourself in truth rather than outcomes. Signs you're already moving this way. You no longer react immediately. You pause before responding. You feel less urgency to prove or explain. Your body feels heavier, grounded. How to maintain it? Safety is preserved through boundaries, not control. Continue choosing environments and thoughts that calm your nervous system. Wholeness begins when safety becomes your baseline. If this resonated with you, please like and subscribe to help us continue to put out videos just like this one. Bear 2, what you're looking for. is love without performance. If this bear stood out to you, your soul is looking for love that does not require earning. Neuroscience shows that conditional affection wires the brain to associate worth with effort. Over time, dopamine becomes linked to approval instead of authenticity. Your subconscious is signaling exhaustion from performance-based identity. Jung would describe this as ego fatigue, when the persona has carried too much weight for too long. This bear represents the call to return to intrinsic worth, where love is received, not chased. Biblically, this aligns with "we love because he first loved us." 1 John 4:19. Love is not a reward, it is a foundation. Why this makes you feel whole? Love without performance dissolves inner division. When you no longer have to split yourself into acceptable and hidden parts, the psyche reunites. How to obtain it? Stop over-explaining your boundaries. Allow yourself to be seen imperfectly. Receive without immediately giving back. Practice self-compassion during failure. Signs you're already moving this way. You feel less anxious about others' opinions. You allow pauses in conversation. You no longer over-justify your needs. You feel calmer being alone. How to maintain it? Choose relationships that reflect love, not labor. Love that heals does not demand self-abandonment. If this resonated with you, please like and subscribe to help us continue to put out videos just like this one. Fire 3. What you're looking for is inner stability. This bear reflects a desire for consistency within yourself, not motivation, not excitement, but steadiness. Neuroscience confirms that emotional instability often comes from externalized regulation, relying on circumstances to feel okay. Your psyche is ready to internalize stability. Jung would call this the movement toward individuation, becoming anchored in the self, rather than the external world. Biblically, a double-minded person is unstable in all their ways, James 1:8. Stability comes from alignment, not certainty. Why this makes you feel whole? Stability allows identity to solidify. You stop reshaping yourself to match every environment. How to obtain it? Commit to values instead of moods. Regulate emotions before acting. Keep promises to yourself. Reduce overstimulation. Signs you're already there. Your reactions are measured. Your decisions feel calm. You trust yourself more than validation. How to maintain it? Protect your inner rhythm. Stability grows through consistency, not intensity. If this resonated with you, please like and subscribe to help us continue to put out videos just like this one. Therefore, what you're looking for is reassurance from within. If you chose this bear, your soul is seeking inner reassurance, the ability to comfort yourself without external confirmation. Neuroscience shows that self-soothing strengthens the prefrontal cortex, increasing emotional resilience. Your psyche is learning self-trust. Jung viewed this as the maturation of the psyche, when the inner authority replaces external dependency. Biblically, the Lord is near to the brokenhearted, Psalm 34:18. Nearness becomes internalized over time. Why this makes you feel whole? You no longer fracture under uncertainty. Reassurance creates emotional independence without isolation. How to obtain it? Speak kindly to yourself during stress. Slow down internal criticism. Sit with emotion instead of escaping. Signs you're succeeding. You calm yourself without distraction. You recover faster from disappointment. You trust timing. How to maintain it? Reassurance grows through patience. Wholeness comes when you become your own safe place. If this resonated with you, please like and subscribe to help us continue to put out videos just like this one. Bear 5. What you're looking for is purpose without pressure. If you chose this bear, your soul is searching for meaning that doesn't feel heavy, purpose that flows from who you are, not who you're trying to become. From a behavioral neuroscience perspective, this reflects a nervous system that has associated purpose with urgency, obligation, or fear of falling behind. Chronic pressure activates cortisol, which over time disconnects motivation from joy. Your subconscious selection reveals a desire to realign meaning with ease, where action comes from clarity rather than anxiety. Carl Jung described this as the tension between the ego's ambition and the self's calling. When the ego leads, purpose feels forced. When the self leads, purpose feels inevitable. This bear symbolizes the psyche's readiness to release. hustle-driven identity, and step into aligned contribution. Biblically, this reflects, "For we are God's workmanship, created to do good works, which God prepared in advance for us to do." Ephesians 2:10. Purpose is not invented, it is revealed. You are not late. You are unfolding. Why this brings wholeness. Purpose without pressure integrates desire and direction. When you stop forcing your life forward, fragmented parts of the psyche stop resisting. Wholeness emerges when your actions reflect your nature instead of your fear. How to obtain it? Listen for what energizes you without reward. Release timelines that create anxiety. Follow curiosity rather than comparison. Allow rest to clarify direction. Neuroscience confirms that clarity often arises during rest, not effort. The brain solves meaning-oriented problems when it is not overstimulated. Signs you're already moving this way. You feel drawn, not pushed. You sense peace even without answers. You say no more easily. Your goals feel simpler, not bigger. How to maintain it? Protect your inner pace. Purpose remains clear when you honor rhythm over rush. Stay grounded in faith, not outcome. When pressure returns, remember what is meant for you will not require self-abandonment. If this resonated with you, please like and subscribe to help us continue to put out videos just like this one. Welcome to Soul Reflections. In this message, you're going to choose one bouquet of flowers, and that choice will reveal what your current energy says about you. This is not about prediction, it's about reflection. Carl Jung taught that what we are drawn to is never random. Our subconscious is always communicating through symbols, images, and emotional reactions, even when we don't realize it. Each bouquet represents a different emotional pattern and nervous system state. What catches your attention? First is not your mind choosing, it's your inner world responding. So take a slow breath. Relax your shoulders. Don't analyze. Simply notice which bouquet pulls you in. There is no right or wrong choice. There is only the one that mirrors what is active inside you right now. Once you've chosen, stay to hear your message and see what your energy is ready to understand, heal, and step into next. Bouquet 1, the healer's energy, white roses. You are drawn to this because your nervous system is tired of chaos. Not bored, not numb. Tired. Your inner world is seeking safety, stillness, and emotional rest. You've spent so long being strong, stable, and emotionally together. For others, that your body has learned to live in quiet. Alertness, what neuroscience calls functional freeze. You function, you perform, but you are always holding yourself. This bouquet reflects your unconscious desire to soften. Jung taught that what we admire in the outer world is often what our inner world is ready to reclaim. You are reclaiming peace. You are learning that you don't have to earn love through endurance. Your hidden power is emotional gravity. People feel safe with you because your presence regulates their nervous system. That is rare. That is strength. But here is the shadow. You attract people who want your calm and not your depth. People who rest in you but do not rise with you. The work now is to choose reciprocity over peacekeeping. Peace should not cost you your truth. You are not here to hold the world together. You are here to live. If this resonated with you, please like and subscribe to help us continue to put out videos just like this one. Bouquet 2, the catalyst's energy, wildflowers. You chose this because your soul is restless. You crave motion, meaning, and emotional expansion. Your nervous system is wired for novelty, not because you are unstable, but because growth is your natural state. You learn through experience, contrast, and risk. Jung would say you are in the phase of individuation, the part of life where the soul breaks old identities to discover what is real. Your hidden power is activation. You wake people up. You make them question who they are. You disrupt stagnation. But here is the shadow. You unconsciously attract people who want to be changed, not people who want to grow with you. They admire your fire. They feed on your vision, but they often lack direction of their own. Your nervous system is not meant to chase chaos. It is meant to create momentum with purpose. You are not here to save lost souls. You are here to build something alive. If this resonated with you, please like and subscribe to help us continue to put out videos just like this one. Bouquet 3, the intensity energy, red roses. You chose this because your emotional world runs deep. You feel things fully. You love fiercely. You commit completely. Your nervous system is wired for attachment. Intensity, a biological and emotional state, where connection feels like oxygen. When you bond with your whole being. Jung would say your shadow is the fear of abandonment, and your soul is learning self-sovereignty. Your hidden power is emotional depth. You can love in ways that transform people, but here is the shadow. You attract people who need to be healed, rescued, or emotionally carried. You mistake intensity for intimacy. You confuse passion with safety. You are not here to burn yourself to keep others warm. You are here to be chosen without sacrifice. Love should feel powerful, not painful. If this resonated with you, please like and subscribe to help us continue to put out videos just like this one. Bouquet 4, the grace energy, pink roses. You chose this because your soul is awakening to softness. You are learning that gentleness is not weakness, it is emotional maturity. Your nervous system is shifting from survival into secure receptivity. You no longer want drama. You want presence. Jung would say you are integrating your feminine psyche, the part that knows how to receive without guilt. Your hidden power is magnetism without effort. People feel seen around you. They feel chosen. But here is the shadow. You attract people who want your warmth but do not protect it. You give beauty. They take comfort. But they do not always offer stability. Your softness deserves strength. Your love deserves safety. You are not here to be convenient. You are here to be cherished. If this resonated with you, please like and subscribe to help us continue to put out videos just like this one. Take a slow breath and look at the 4 symbols in front of you. Don't overthink it. Just notice which one pulls your attention first. Your eyes will land on the symbol that recognizes you, the one that matches your energy and reveals the strength you've been carrying in silence. Trust your instinct. Choose the symbol that speaks to you and discover the hidden power that's been waiting underneath your surface. The golden eye, the one who sees what others hide. You don't just notice things. You feel the truth under people's words. This symbol calls out those who carry an old instinct. The ability to read a room within seconds, detect lies without trying, and sense motives before they're revealed. Your hidden power is inner surveillance, a mind that never sleeps. People underestimate how sharp you really are because you don't announce it. You observe, you gather, you wait. And that's exactly why nothing gets past you. This power becomes unstoppable when you trust your first instinct more than your second thought. If this resonated with you, please like and subscribe to help us continue to put out videos just like this one. The flaming triangle, the one who burns through barriers. If this symbol called to you, it's because you're built for evolution, not comfort. Your hidden power is the fire that wakes up when life tries to break you. You don't crumble, you pivot. You don't fear endings, you use them. The flaming triangle marks someone who becomes dangerous, in the best way, once they realize how many times they've survived what should have destroyed them. Your energy makes others nervous because it's unpredictable, intense and impossible to control. When you stop holding back, every room feels you before you even speak. If this resonated with you, please like and subscribe to help us continue to put out videos just like this one. The blue geometric eye, the one who builds fate with precision. You weren't drawn to this symbol by accident. It's the mark of someone whose mind operates on a higher frequency. You see patterns where others see chaos, solutions where others see dead ends, opportunity where others see limits. Your hidden power is strategic manifestation, not wishful thinking, but the ability to map out your future in ways others can't comprehend. You think 3 moves ahead, and that's why people mistake you for lucky. You're not lucky. You're intentional. And once your focus locks onto something, reality bends in your direction. If this resonated with you, please like and subscribe to help us continue to put out videos just like this one. The cosmic infinity, the one whose presence alters people. This symbol chooses people with quiet strength, the kind that shifts the energy of an entire room without a word. You're emotionally tuned in, spiritually receptive and naturally magnetic. Your hidden power is energetic influence. You don't force outcomes, you pull them. People heal when they're around you. They open up without meaning to. They trust you because they feel understood, even when you say nothing. But the most powerful part, you can sense people's intentions long before they reveal themselves, which protects you more than you realize. If this resonated with you, please like and subscribe to help us continue to put out videos just like this one. Welcome to Soul Reflections. This space is inspired by Carl Jung's psychology and the idea that every choice we make is a reflection of the soul. Here we don't predict the future or tell you who you're supposed to be. Instead, we explore how symbols speak to the subconscious, revealing insight, awareness and truth already within you. The wolf you're drawn to isn't random. It reflects what your inner world is ready to understand, heal, or awaken. Take a breath, trust what stands out to you, and allow this reflection to meet you exactly where you are. Each wolf represents the hidden truth that already exists within you, and the message you'll hear is meant to bring awareness to what your soul is ready to unlock right now. There's no right or wrong choice, trust the one that stands out. To you first, your choice is a reflection. And sometimes, reflection is exactly what we need to grow. You can learn something from each of you, cannot choose just one. Now take a second and I'll give you some time to choose. Row 1, the firewolf, the one born with relentless willpower. There's a reason you felt pulled toward the firewolf. People like you don't just survive difficult chapters, you absorb them, reshape them and turn them into fuel. Your life has never been simple, and deep down you know this. You've always been the one who had to grow up faster, endure more and figure things out alone. You carry an inner flame that can't be extinguished, even when you've tried to put it out yourself. Your hidden identity is the unbreakable force, the person others underestimate until they suddenly realize you're 10 steps ahead. You read people with a quiet intensity. You notice who's lying, who's insecure, who's pretending. You've spent your whole life picking up patterns, learning how people think, what they fear, what drives them. You don't use this awareness to manipulate, but you could, easily, and that's what makes you powerful. You understand psychology instinctively. The firewolf symbolizes a soul who carries dangerous resilience. The more pressure you're under, the sharper you become. You're the kind of person who can fall apart at 3 a.m. and still show up the next morning looking composed and unreadable. People never see the battle inside you because you don't allow them to. You don't rely on others. You rely on strategy, instinct, and grit. You attract jealousy because your strength is intimidating. You attract admiration because your presence is magnetic. You attract loyalty because you don't break your word. But your greatest gift? You rise every single time. That were not the same, but stronger, colder, wiser. Your wolf reveals that you aren't meant for an average life. You're meant for mastery, transformation, and leadership. Even if you don't call it leadership. Even if you don't realize you're already doing it. If this resonated with you, please like and subscribe to help us continue to put out videos just like this one. Row 2, the ice wolf, the one with silent power. Choosing the ice wolf means you are someone who holds stillness that unsettles the wrong people and comforts the right ones. You don't react quickly. You don't explode. You don't fall into emotional traps. Your power is subtle, precise, and unnervingly calm. People mistake your gentleness for softness, but you hold a cold edge beneath the surface, a boundary that cannot be crossed without consequence. You don't raise your voice. You withdraw your energy. And that is far more terrifying. You think deeply, observe quietly, and act only when it matters. Your mind is clear, analytical, and naturally tuned to find truth beneath noise. You see angles, motives, and emotional undercurrents others are blind to. While others chase attention, you conserve your strength. While others rush, you calculate. You don't need validation because your identity doesn't depend on external approval. The ice wolf represents someone who feels everything, yet exposes nothing. People often project onto you because you're a blank canvas. Calm, beautiful, mysterious. But the truth is, you simply don't waste your inner world on anyone who hasn't earned access to it. Your hidden power is emotional precision. You don't get fooled by charm. You don't fall for manipulation. You don't engage in chaos. When your patience runs out, you disappear silently, cleanly, permanently. And here's what others don't realize. You forgive because it frees you. Not because people deserve it. You detach because you see the truth, not because you're cold. You stay quiet because you understand more than you say. Your wolf reveals a soul that is hard to shake, hard to read, and impossible to replace. You are the calm that follows storms, and the storm that rises when silence breaks. If this resonated with you, please like and subscribe to help us continue to put out videos just like this one. Row 3, the shadow wolf, the one with depth others can't handle. Choosing the shadow wolf means you are someone who moves through life with a depth most people don't possess or even understand. You see darkness not as something to fear, but as something to study, navigate, and transform. You've been through situations that forced you to understand human behavior in ways others never had to. Your hidden identity is the deep soul, intuitive, intense, and profoundly aware. You recognize emotional patterns instantly. You sense lies the moment they're spoken. You know when someone's energy shifts. Nothing goes unnoticed. People often try to figure you out and fail. You carry mystery the way others carry moods, naturally, effortlessly. You're unreadable because you've learned to protect yourself. Your silence isn't emptiness, it's strategy. The shadow wolf symbolizes a person who has walked through fire. Internally would be heartbreak, betrayal, disappointment, abandonment, and emerged sharper, wiser, and emotionally self-sufficient. You've already survived the things that would destroy most people. That gives you an advantage others don't have. You know your darkness, so it can't control you. You are magnetic in a way that's hard to explain. People feel drawn to you even when they can't articulate why. You feel familiar to hurt people and intimidating to superficial people. You attract deep conversations, intense bonds, psychic-level connections, and also envy, obsession, and projection. But your greatest strength? You transform pain into purpose, shadow into wisdom, instinct into guidance. Your wolf reveals that you're meant for a path that requires bravery, emotional intelligence, and the ability to see truth, even when it's uncomfortable. You don't fear the shadows, you walk with them. If this resonated with you, please like and subscribe to help us continue to put out videos just like this one. Row 4, the celestial wolf, the one whose energy shifts reality. The celestial wolf represents people with rare intuition, heightened sensitivity, and powerful inner light. If you chose this wolf, you are someone whose presence affects rooms, moods, and outcomes without saying a word. Your energy speaks before your mouth does. You're highly intuitive, not in a trendy, surface-level way, but in a deep, almost supernatural sense. You pick up on emotions, motives, and vibrations instantly. You feel the undercurrents in every situation. You sense what's coming before it arrives. Your hidden identity is the frequency shifter. People are drawn to you because you make them feel understood, safe or awakened, sometimes all at once. You bring healing without trying, comfort without effort, clarity just by existing. But that doesn't mean you're naive. You've seen enough, felt enough, lost enough to be wise beyond your years. The celestial wolf symbolizes someone who has a strong internal moral compass, not because of rules, but because of alignment. You can feel when something is wrong. You can sense when a person's energy is dangerous. You know when to walk away long before you explain why. Your greatest strength is energetic influence. You don't manipulate. The universe just seems to shift a little when you move. Opportunities open for you. People reveal themselves around you. Truth rises to the surface when you're near. But you also carry a hidden shadow. You absorb too much. You feel too deeply. You take on emotions that aren't yours. When you learn to separate your energy from others, your power becomes unstoppable. Your wolf reveals a soul meant for impact, intuition, and connection. Someone who changes the world not by force but by frequency. If this resonated with you, please like and subscribe to help us continue to put out videos just like this one. Welcome to Soul Reflections, your sacred pause in life's journey. Today we unlock 7 symbolic locks, each holding a lesson your soul is ready to hear. Notice which lock calls to you. Know this: It's okay if more than one does. Your soul might be speaking in layers. You are not lost. You are evolving. Every call is valid, even if it overlaps. This is growth, not chaos. I care deeply for your journey. This is not a rigid test. This is gentle guidance from within. So if your intuition pulls you towards several locks, listen to each. Each is a step toward protection, alignment, and wholeness. Let's begin. Lock 1. Protection from premature action. If you chose this lock, your spirit is alert right now. You feel restless, like something should already be happening. There's energy in you, but it's contained. Neuroscience shows that urgency activates the amygdala, not wisdom. When we move too fast, we mistake adrenaline for alignment. This lock appears when momentum would actually cost you more than patience. You may feel delayed, but delay is not denial. In the Bible, Moses spent 40 years preparing for a moment that required precision, not speed. Jung called this the necessary incubation of the self. You are not wrong for wanting movement. You're being protected from acting before your nervous system. Identity and discernment are fully integrated. There is care here. Divine care, like a parent keeping a child from running into traffic. Not punishment, but protection. You're being protected from moving before you trust yourself. The lock opens when calm replaces urgency. The sign you're aligned, peace without needing proof. If this resonated with you, please like and subscribe to help us continue to put out videos just like this one. Lock 2. Protection from repeating a familiar pattern. This lock activates recognition. Something about it feels familiar, almost too familiar. Behavioral neuroscience shows the brain prefers predictability over happiness. That's why people return to relationships, jobs, and cycles that feel known, even when they hurt. Jung warned that what is unconscious will repeat until made conscious. This lock appears when your soul says, "Not again." You're not stuck, you're aware. Awareness is the moment protection begins. You are deeply supported here. God often blocks doors not because we're unworthy, but because we're ready for something different. You're being protected from choosing familiarity over growth. The lock opens when you pause instead of reacting. The sign you're healing? You feel bored by what once hooked you. If this resonated with you, please like and subscribe to help us continue to put out videos just like this one. Lock 3. Protection from emotional exhaustion. This lock feels heavy. It holds accumulated emotion, not danger. Neuroscience confirms chronic emotional output without recovery leads to burnout, dissociation, and loss of clarity. Biblically, even Elijah collapsed after overgiving. God didn't correct him. He fed him and let him rest. You are not weak. You've been strong for too long without replenishment. This lock is compassion. It's rest disguised as resistance. You're being protected from giving beyond capacity. The lock opens when you stop explaining and start restoring. The sign you're aligned, energy returns without force. If this resonated with you, please like and subscribe to help us continue to put out videos just like this one. Lock 4. Protection from false identity. This lock is sharp, clean, intentional. Jung called the false self the persona, the mask shaped by approval, survival and adaptation. The Bible echoes this. When I was a child, I thought as a child. Growth requires shedding old identities. You didn't fake who you were, you adapted to survive. You are loved beyond performance, roles, and labels. You're being protected from becoming successful at something that isn't you. The lock opens when authenticity feels safer than approval. If this resonated with you, please like and subscribe to help us continue to put out videos just like this one. Lock 5. Protection from misaligned relationships. This lock holds emotional gravity. Attachment science shows we bond not to love, but to nervous system familiarity. The Bible warns against being unequally yoked, not morally, but energetically. You didn't imagine the discomfort. Your body knew before your mind did. This protection is gentle but firm. You're being protected from connection that costs your self-respect. The lock opens when peace matters more than chemistry. If this resonated with you, please like and subscribe to help us continue to put out videos just like this one. Lock 6. Protection from self-betrayal. This lock feels personal. Neuroscience shows repeated self-override weakens intuition. Jung taught that integrity restores psychic energy. You didn't lose intuition. You ignored it to survive. Grace meets you here, not judgment. You're being protected from abandoning yourself again. The lock opens when your no feels sacred. If this resonated with you, please like and subscribe to help us continue to put out videos just like this one. Lock 7. Protection from spiritual confusion. This lock feels quiet, not dramatic. Too much information fragments clarity. Biblical wisdom says discernment grows in stillness. You're not lost, you're overloaded. Truth meets you gently. You're being protected from noise masquerading as guidance. The lock opens when simplicity feels powerful. If this resonated with you, please like and subscribe to help us continue to put out videos just like this one. Before you choose a coffee cup, understand this: you're drawn to is accidental. Your subconscious makes the decision long before you realize it, and that choice exposes more about you than you think. We're not here to predict your future. We're here to pull back the curtain on the parts of yourself you've been avoiding. Every symbol triggers something: buried desire, fear, unresolved truth. And the cup you can't stop looking at, that's the one your mind is trying to hide from you, and the one your soul refuses to ignore. So don't overthink it. Don't negotiate with yourself. Go with the cup that hits you first, because that instinct is the revelation. Take a breath, look again, and choose the cup you can't explain. Coffee cup number 1. The eye of awareness. You're drawn to the cup marked by the eye because your inner world is powered by perception. You don't just see things, you absorb, decode, and interpret them with precision others rarely notice. Your subconscious loves clarity, pattern recognition, and silent observation. This attraction is not random. People who choose the eye often carry an innate psychological advantage: high sensitivity to microsignals, social nuance, tone shifts, and hidden motives. You read energy faster than words, and your mind processes layers of meaning at once. And here's the tension point: you sense more than you act on. You perceive more than you trust. Your instincts are powerful, but you often question them, diluting your natural strengths. Your choice reveals something essential. Your inner world is empowered by truth, intuition, and quiet analysis. You don't need louder confidence. You need deeper self-trust. Your ability to notice what others miss is not paranoia or overthinking, it's pattern intelligence. You've likely been the one who understood people long before they understood themselves. You care deeply, but from a distance. You protect your peace because chaos disrupts your inner clarity. And even when you don't say everything you know, you feel it fully. Your life shifts dramatically when you accept this fact. Your intuition is your power, not your burden. Once you stop apologizing for being too aware, your relationships stabilize, your boundaries sharpen, and your purpose becomes unmistakably clear. Your soul is empowered when you honor the truth you already see. If this resonated with you, please like, share with a friend who this might help, and subscribe to our YouTube to help us continue to put out videos just like this one. Coffee cup number 2, the flame of drive. Choosing the flame means your inner world is fueled by momentum, desire, and inner fire. You thrive on movement, not chaos, but progression. You feel alive when you're building, improving, or transforming. This pull toward fire reveals a core psychological engine: intrinsic motivation. Your drive doesn't rely on praise. You ignite from within. When something matters to you, your focus becomes razor-sharp and nearly unshakable. But here's your inner tension. Your fire is intense, and when unchanneled, it can burn you before it warms you. You oscillate between bursts of energy and sudden exhaustion because you often demand more from yourself than you give back. Your choice validates something powerful. You are someone who is meant to take action. Your mind is wired for pursuit, achievement, and transformation. You're not lazy, you're selective. Your energy surges only for what aligns with your deeper purpose. You've carried yourself through situations that would break others. Your fire is both your protection and your fuel. Even when you feel drained, there's a spark in you that never fully goes out, a resilience. People underestimate until they watch you rise. Your life changes when you honor this rule. Direct your fire, don't suppress it. You transform when you stop giving energy to distractions and aim your drive toward what elevates you. Your soul grows stronger through disciplined passion, not self-sacrifice. Your inner world is empowered by ignition, by the decision to start and the discipline to continue. If this resonated with you, please like, share with a friend who this might help, And subscribe to our YouTube to help us continue to put out videos just like this one. Coffee cup number 3, the star of meaning. If you chose the star, your inner world is powered by purpose, connection, and inner alignment. You need your life to mean something, not just function. You're not driven by attention, you're driven by significance. You gravitate toward experiences that help you grow emotionally, intellectually, and spiritually. You learn quickly, reflect deeply, and connect authentically. Your inner conflict is subtle but constant. You often feel the gap between who you are now and who you sense you're becoming. You're not lost, you're evolving. But the in-between stage can feel like pressure, confusion, or restlessness. Your choice confirms that your empowerment comes from alignment, not approval. When your actions reflect your values, your confidence strengthens. When they don't, your entire inner world feels unstable. You're not too sensitive. You're attuned to meaning. You care deeply, not in a naive way, but in a connected way. You love with intention. You think before you act. You reflect before you react. You see the potential in people and situations long before others recognize it. Here is your pivotal insight. Your soul thrives when your choices match your values. When you stop betraying your own alignment just to maintain peace, your clarity skyrockets, your relationships stabilize, your self-respect multiplies. Your inner world is empowered by purpose, by choosing meaning over noise. If this resonated with you, please like, share with a friend who this might help, and subscribe to our YouTube to help us continue to put out videos just like this one. Coffee cup number 4, the infinity of possibility. Choosing infinity reveals that your inner world is powered by adaptability, imagination, and boundless potential. You think in possibilities, not limits. Your subconscious is wired for expansion. You don't just see what is, you see what could be. You're innovative, forward-thinking, and often ahead of your environment. But your inner conflict is this: your mind runs faster than your reality. Your ideas outpace your environment. You often feel misunderstood. Because most people operate within boundaries you naturally exceed. Your choice confirms an essential truth. You are empowered by freedom. You need space to think, to create, to reinvent, to grow. Routine suffocates you. Stagnation drains you. You're not inconsistent, you're evolving. Your spirit is compassionate yet expansive. You care deeply, but you refuse to be confined. You've outgrown people, identities, and environments many times, not out of ego, but out of necessity. Your transformation begins when you accept this. Your potential isn't a threat, it's your calling. When you stop shrinking yourself to fit your surroundings, you step into the version of you that impacts, inspires, and elevates. Your inner world is empowered by infinite possibility, by allowing yourself to expand without apology. If this resonated with you, please like, share with a friend who this might help, and subscribe to our YouTube to help us continue to put out videos just like this one.